Hello, everyone, and welcome to Know Your Locals, a podcast to help you better get to know the Vic Smash scene. My name's Master of Disaster, and I'm your host. And today's guest is one of the best players in the world at what they quote is a bottom five character, and Twitter clip extraordinaire. Please welcome Danklin to the podcast.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm so glad that not only the podcast is back, but I actually get to be on it. Something we might have had in the works, I guess during the first block of the podcast, during those first episodes, and then COVID stopped, so everyone had a lot less time. Me and Mod, especially with our work and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, now it's back. The one pro of quarantine, I guess.
yeah, we got to make the most of it, right? And if there's an opportunity to work on something cool, we might as well. And like you said, yeah, we've been working on this one for a while. Unfortunately, when work came back, Smash came back, I was like, oh, do I really want to spend time, doing all this research and stuff when I could just be playing the game and hanging out with people? So, but we ended up here, so I'm glad. It's like making the best out of a bad situation. Now, Tim, if you can, just like you'd introduce yourself to the listeners, so just share anything that you'd like with people watching.
Yeah, so I would hope most people who are watching this know me. If you don't, Tim, from Victoria as well, play me Sword Fighter. Mod said is a bottom five character. It's true, and yeah, I'm also I guess one of the not older, but I do live the old man life for a smasher. Work full time, like live moved out with my partner. It's yeah, don't have as much time for the game as some of the younger kids.
Yeah, no, that's a fair cop, and like you said, if you don't know, that's it's quite a contrast, and I try and grab people from different sort of age groups and lifestyles when I do these because I want people to talk about it and how it impacts how they interact with the scene as well, because it can be hard sometimes, when work's flat out. Um, it can be really hard to be motivated to come to a tournament, or you just literally can't make it because you had to work back for a couple of hours or whatever it may be. So yeah, I guess we'll start off, Tim, with your player interesting fact, which is app development. Um, so you're currently working as like an application development analyst. So can you describe what you do for work?
Yeah, so it's with an IT consulting firm. So essentially, they kind of ship me off to other companies to help build their apps like that. So I've been with a bunch of different clients already. I've worked for a year and a bit now, and it really ranges from everything. So right now, I'm particularly working with Salesforce, application, something to develop the apps for. But I've been with government clients, working with the COVID vaccination management systems, and from what was the other one? I'm blanking on it. Just a whole variety of different clients, really, and it's quite interesting getting to do different things every few months, essentially, and that's why I chose consulting because I did an IT degree, wanted to do something IT related. And yeah,
There you ended up.
yeah, pretty much.
It's interesting you said Salesforce. It's like massive, actually. Like it's a pretty big system, and it's like a lot of companies use it. So we're not talking like just rando small time stuff. This is a pretty big deal. Like,
Oh yeah, yes, I said it, and I was like, I don't really want to bother explaining all of Salesforce, and not sure how many people actually know what it is, but yeah,
sorry, that's
essentially the
just
company I work
that's just me being old and knowing what.
for. Those are things, but yeah, no, pretty big, some pretty big clients, particularly in Australia.
Yeah, that's awesome. The main reason I brought it up was just to let people know you've been involved with some projects that have helped improve the experience for people in on Smash in general. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was Bracket Buddy. Um, so I know you've worked on this one with Nat from Queensland. Um, can you explain what Bracket Buddy is, I guess, for everyone?
Yeah, so Bracket Buddy was essentially a mobile-friendly version of Smash GG, because as we all know, I'm sure anyone who's used Smash GG on their phone has realized it's pretty dog shit. It takes forever to load anything, and yeah, it's just pretty annoying to use. And we wanted to fix that problem. It wasn't an easy task at all, but we did end up with a pretty solid product in the end, I think. Um,
Definitely, it was definitely good, and even like from my minimal experience with it, like unfortunately, as we got towards the part where I needed it more when I started organizing the tournaments and stuff, um, you could just see how much better it was when trying to use Smash GG on my mobile. It's like, oh, I just want to rip my hair out. Um, so I'm guessing that's probably what inspired you in the first place to make Bracket Buddy, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, basically me and Nat, because she's into development as well,
Hmm.
more the prettier side of things, but and I'm more into the back end half of it. And we really just wanted to make anything. That was kind of I guess quarantine hobby, something we wanted to do. And we were just basically brainstorming a whole bunch of ideas that were problems affecting the Smash community, and that was the biggest one that we came to. Was like, damn, this really sucks. They did a bad job of building this.
Yeah, no, it's for sure, and I'm glad it was there. And it's like really good proof. It's like, hey, this is definitely possible. Sort out your shit, Smash GG, like pretty much.
Yeah, it is. It was really difficult to work with though. The API in the backend is they just make it super restricted for honestly no real reason. So there's a lot of things that we wanted to do that we couldn't. Particularly for the admin side of things, there's no way in the API to report any bracket scores. So that was one of the big things we wanted to do, which I guess we couldn't do. And yeah, it was just generally really difficult and finicky, basically all aspects. And if you ask anyone who's developed with the Smash GG backend, it's a nightmare.
And that's a shame, right? Because like I guess in a way, it's like I'm wondering if it's more of a thing to like sort of control what can be created so that they can release it on their end without it being something that they have to sort of, like support from the sidelines, I guess. Like, oh, well, this other dude's made something really good for our app. If they make it impossible, they can develop it, I guess, themselves internally. I
Yeah,
don't know
there's
if that's
that. And
necessarily the case, but yeah, just like that's the thought process going through my mind.
yeah, there's definitely that. And also, I guess the more opportunities you open up with the API, the more vulnerabilities there are. So it's a bit more of a concern that way. You would hate for like Evo Japan to say Jack Gorman won. That'd be a nightmare for Smash GG.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you wouldn't want that to happen.
Nah, that'd be terrible.
So when it came to actually developing Bracket Buddy, what were some of the things that you found really difficult? Like, were there anything outside of the actual API itself that were causing issues?
Um, Nothing too well. I think me and Nat actually worked together really well for it. I guess some difficulties were that this is kind of the first app I developed in my own without like the guidelines of uni, because it's something I did basically straight out of uni. I finished, did some travel, and then it was COVID, and I had 3 months I started work. So yeah, pretty much the first app I guess I developed on my own or with someone outside of uni. And there's a lot to learn, but it was a good experience doing that. But yeah, other than the API, that's probably the main difficulty I'd say.
Okay, fair enough. And were you happy with the well, at least where it is at the moment, Bracket Buddy? You're happy with the end result that you got?
Yeah, as far as with what's possible to do, it actually I was really happy, and I did end up using it a few times myself last year, just during smaller brackets, half to test it, but also like it was actually just a prettier format for looking at I found particularly your own bracket run or a single person's bracket run
Mm.
was displayed way neater and way faster in that. Looking at the actual bracket itself was a bit more finicky, but that was definitely one feature I think we 100% did better than Smash GG.
And is Bracket Buddy still in active development, or is it sort of like on hold at the moment?
I wouldn't say active. Yeah, on hold is probably the better word. We have some plans for it, but we're both like really busy. Like Nat's super busy with uni. I've been working, obviously. It's something I'd love to go back to eventually. And there were some plans like we would ideally like to get it hosted on Smash or something, because that's one of the reasons it's not currently up anymore. Is it was costing me money out of pocket every year. To some people did generously donate, but it was still costing a fair bit to keep up the domain and keep it running every month.
Yeah.
So if we can get it posted on Smash somehow, Nat was gonna talk to Shitashi one day. Um, then that would be ideal. But we'd have to also make some modifications to the app itself for it to be like perfectly compatible. So
Yeah.
it'll still take a bit of work.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And is there any features that you're like looking to bring potentially in the future to Bracket Buddy?
Still, like I said, that admin one would be number one, but not exactly possible yet.
Mm.
But nothing really. Honestly, I think we did everything that we could do with the Smash GT API. And if they ever add things, then we'd be like, I'd love to go back and work on it a bit more and add some more functionality if they allow that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to work on it at some point, definitely, especially when mages are coming back more.
Yeah. Because I would just I mean, I could imagine if I could just give all my like bracket runners. I don't know what to call them. I've gone mental blank. It's been too long since we had a tournament. But if you could give them like the link to the app and they could just run the bracket from there, it would just be so smooth. Um, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hopefully, we're not too far away anyway. I'll drop a link in the chat for Nat's Twitter if you get a chance. Give her a follow. It's doing some good stuff over there too. A lot of artwork too, so give it a check. And the next area I wanted to talk about in terms of your, app development is Deep JSON bot.
My other beautiful quarantine project.
Mate, this is I think most people know about this, even if they don't really get what it is or what it's referring to. But yeah, this you've definitely seen a tweet because like one of us has probably retweeted something silly. So, um, can you
Yeah,
explain what
but
it does? I guess is probably the key thing I'm trying to get at because like I don't get it
yeah, definitely.
personally.
So I can explain it pretty simply. Is I back before Jason the idiot got his account banned, I downloaded all of his tweets. You can just do like a API scraper for Twitter.
Yep.
Got every single tweet he's ever made, and fed it all into a neural network, and then it just spits out JSON tweets. So I basically learned how to speak, write, tweet, whatever, purely based on everything he's ever said. So all like the way he talks, the things he says, the people he talks about, the fuck Andres, the Jason bot says, is all learned from Jason. And the way I made the Twitter bot part of it is I sat down the bot and I just made it generate something like 10,000, 20,000 tweets, I think, and it just spits one out every hour for over a year now.
It's just nuts. Like I remember at the time, you know, when I first saw it, I'm like, this is the craziest thing ever. Like, because it was getting popular, like this idea, but like it was just too good. Like it legit felt like he was writing the tweets. You know what I mean? And I know that like you can potentially work around that in some extent, but like 90% of it, 99% of it is just generated itself by the bot. But
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
it was right around the time of the Deep Leffen bot, so like that came out. I saw it like this is genius, and I could do this too. So let's do it with Jason. Yeah, and you're right. It definitely, I feel like it just works with him so well. Just he has this way of tweeting and speaking that it's not like anything else. So when a bot learns from it, you can really tell.
Yeah, it's definitely doing what it's meant to do, right? Like it's a very unique way of talking and tweeting, I guess, but it's just worked it out and it's like it's solved. It's literally just Jason. Um, I guess yeah. So that was created during lockdown, like you said. Was anything? Yeah, that was basically just from seeing Deep Left and Bot. You've applied it to someone similar sort of concept there. Um, I guess you were curate as far as I was aware, you were like curating the tweets right at the start. Um,
Mm.
and that was just like you like picking out good tweets that it was generating out of that list of like 10, 20,000 or so, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I had that list of so I generated the list, that was fine. And then I was like, oh, I want to get some of the funny ones first, draw some attention to it. So I was basically handpicking them for like a few weeks, a month maybe. Just handpicked 20 or so, sorry, 24 a day, and I would just schedule the tweets.
Yeah.
Like this is really bit into that. I'm like, this is really annoying. I'm just gonna automate this. And you get a lot more misses than hits as a result of that, but it's so much easier for me, and it means the bot can like pump out content forever. I think it's yeah, it hasn't crashed once, but it did get banned from Twitter for a day once. That was pretty recently actually. I forgot what it said. I probably shouldn't repeat it, whatever it was. But
That's so
oh god,
funny.
I think it was Apollo from Queensland was just replying to it nonstop, and then eventually hit something bad that Twitter didn't like. So
Yeah,
bot was
fair
offline
enough,
forever.
right? Is it? I guess for me, it's like the nerd part of me is just like here. It's like, is there anything in the development of making this bot that would be interesting to reveal for someone that might not understand how it works on the back end?
Maybe not so much about the back end side of it. That's interesting, but I did originally want to do it for Jack Gorman, so that's a fun fact. But he has had his account. I don't remember if it was he had his account banned or he changed his @ too many times. But I could not scrape more than like 20 tweets from his account. Every time I tried, it's like, oh yeah, that's all there is. That's as far as it goes back. So it was either because he got banned or he changed his @ like every other week back then. So
Yeah, that
there's
would make
definitely
it a lot
different.
harder because you basically like be constantly scraping to get the tweets together, and
Exactly. I
then
have to go through like Mollusk, Wedding, Pudge, whatever other ats he had.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
not
a
fun.
hassle.
So
That's yeah, not worth. I feel it would have been
I think it worked out
awesome.
pretty well with Jason though, in the end.
Yeah, it definitely did. Definitely did. Do you feel like there'll be any further development on the bot at all?
I did try recently. I wanted to just make some upgrades, generate a whole like sheet of new tweets, all that stuff, and I wanted to include everything that he's tweeted in say like the past year since I created the bot.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, Jason's actually an idiot and got his old account banned, so now there's just the GWIF, and has made that way harder for me. So I might look into it eventually, see if I can find a way to add on all those new tweets since then. But it might be quite difficult to make any significant improvements for now, thanks to that. He's an idiot.
Bloody Jays.
Oh, actually, I also did consider uh, also pretty hard because of like the limited data now. But I thought it'd be really fucking funny to just get the bot every now and then to tweet a random picture along with the text that Jason's tweeted. But that could get pretty problematic too. So like,
Oh yeah.
I'm a bit worried it could tweet a video of them playing in Tom's Minecraft world and say something fucking horrible. So I kind of backtracked on that idea too. But it was a thought I had.
Yeah, that's the nature of those sort of things, right? It's like it's awesome because there's so much possibility, but then it's also dangerous because there's so much possibility.
I've created something that's learned from like 2016 Jason, and we're all different people back then. But yeah,
Yeah,
Bot's got
times
a mind of
definitely
its own.
change. Yeah. All right. I guess the next thing I really want to talk about with you, because it's sort of something I can relate to a lot, is just like the lifestyle transition from being a student to full time employee, which I know you touched on a little bit at the start. Um, you know, when you started playing Smash, you're a uni student, obviously had a lot more time on your hands. You talk a little bit about how like your uni schedule was, when you were at uni, in comparison to now.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't one of like I wasn't like a full degenerate uni student, I guess. Like I still had a sleep schedule and I still kind of functioned and I worked as well. But you're 100% right. I had so much more time back then because I started playing Smash like would have been, or at least competing, towards the end of my second year of uni. And you had so much more time in uni, but it's also way less scheduled. So it kind of goes back and forth with it. Trying to think of some examples. So actually, I missed the like I guess a pro and a con would be I had to miss the Arcadian because of uni. I had exams. Like uni
Shit.
is so much more up and down than work. You have exams and like massive periods of like, 4 assignments at once, where you'll just be working your ass off like 80 hours in the week. But then the next week you've got nothing, and it's like, cool, I'm just chilling. I'm gonna go into uni and watch like 2 lectures.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's the balance is not like it doesn't really exist, but there's a lot more downtime when there is downtime. I guess is the way to put it. Um,
Yeah. Oh, and actually, sorry. On top of that is uni holidays as well.
True.
That's like you're only really at uni for 6, 7 months of the year. Work, you are there the whole time. That's
And I think that makes sense, right? So, okay, you don't have as crazy ups and downs. Well, I guess at least in my field, probably not so much in yours. It's the nature of the job at the same time, right? But you you constantly will have that level of work, right? It's not like, oh, well, I'm done for the semester and I've got 4 or 5 weeks off before the next subject starts, and then you just have to constantly be doing stuff. So it's pretty draining, that's for sure.
yeah. Oh, and like you said, there's definitely are still ups and downs with work, but the downs you're still working, you're still there in front of a screen for like 30 plus hours in the week, and the ups generally not as bad as like a stressed uni week. I don't think. I don't think anything's been as bad as like a really stressed uni week yet.
And I think that's partially just because of the nature of it too, right? Like generally at work, it's like related to the same thing, but when you're at uni, a lot of the times it's like it's 4 different subjects that are not all that similar. Um, Trying to switch between all of those and keep on top of everything just makes it like way more stressful than it would be. Like when you're at work, it's like you're working generally on one project, or you know what I mean. It's just like your general flow. I feel like it's a little bit easier to maintain that sort of level. Um,
Yeah, like 40 hours of the same thing is so much easier than like 10 hours each of like four different things.
yeah,
100%. Like you're not switching your brain constantly.
no, that's a good point. I guess from memory, I was going to say, I remember that you got a full time position before you finished your degree. Was that like a placement thing or part of a grad program, or was it just something that you found on your own?
So a lot of people, I like in my cohort, like you're right, I did manage to get a job before I graduated, which was really good. A lot of people from my cohort did get theirs from a placement. So at the start of my third year, I was on like an industry-based learning placement, which is a really good program if anyone's ever at Monash. I know a lot of the JML people who are doing IT are on that as well.
Hmm.
It's basically a 6 month placement paid at a company, and a lot of people I know did get their graduate job through that. I I was lucky enough to get my offer while I was there for a different company, and I was pretty much in my head. I'm like, oh, cool. I don't have to try as hard here now. I'm not trying to impress them and get a job. I can just chill for like 2 more months. I've got my job lined up. Uh, Another thing, if anyone's at uni as well, like please apply for your grad jobs at the start of your final year. Because I didn't really realize that at first until people were asking me, and it was like February, and like, oh, where have you applied so far? I'm like, what? I don't graduate for like 10 months. Like
Lit-
why would I be applying anywhere? So definitely get those in early because some close like March, April. They really pretty strict on it, at least for IT.
Nah, definitely. I remember for myself, I was in a very similar boat where I'm like, I don't need to apply for anything. What do you mean? Like, it's my final semester. I'm just gonna do my work, right? And it's like, no, like you need to be applying for stuff now. And I basically missed that first like window. And normally for business, it's like there's like the start, like the mid year intake and the end year intake. Um, so for me, I just had to go through the end year part. I actually now that I think about it, because I wanted to take a quote unquote gap year, which I ended up just working at the place I did co-op at for the entire year, pretty much full time anyway. So it wasn't really a gap at all. But I just wasn't like quite ready to like start proper full time work, I guess. But if you are at uni and you don't have a job yet anyway, like just apply for stuff, work through the process, get used to it because it's just going to be a lot of it anyway until you find something. So good
Oh
advice
yeah,
coming from you for sure.
yeah. At least apply. Like even if you're not super set on the place, like it doesn't hurt to apply. All it does is give you experience in applying, and it really is like a skill to be able to go through an interview or a podcast and just talk your way through everything.
You got
Like
to make it
you
up
have to
as you
get used
go.
to it. Yeah, don't just pick like I want to go to this one place. I'm going to apply to one place, and I'm going to smash the interview because you're not probably. Maybe you're a genius. I don't know. But
I mean,
yeah,
but
and like
even if you are, right, the problem is that there's also like 1,000 other really good applicants, right? So you might have been a good one, but there's just like 10 other really, really good ones that are better, right? So it's just wrong place, like it's right place but wrong time, and it's something you got to consider. So the more diversify, yeah.
yeah, like you can just get unlucky. Like oh, maybe some genius applied to that one, and yeah, you don't get it. It sucks.
I've seen it
So
firsthand, like because where I was working, I was part of the hiring process for the next co-op, and like this kid was like devastated he didn't get it. It's like the person that like you were competing against, like he was so good, but this other person was just also so good. Like but you can't say that, you know, like when you're telling someone like why they didn't get picked, it's like how do you tell them that this other person's just better? But you literally would have picked him if that person didn't apply. Like it just sounds like you're sort of like it sounds like a cop out, but it's actually true and it comes up pretty often. Um,
yeah, no, it's definitely true. And it's interesting that you kind of work in that side. I always find that like I've never worked in that side, but it's kind of interesting to me. And yeah, you're right. It's not like a bar that you have to jump over to get into a company. You are competing. It does matter if there's someone better than you. Like you have to be in this top whatever percent they're going to hire. Sorry, number, not even percent. So
yeah,
yeah, it's not just for a bar.
that's right. That's the key thing, and I think that's like the problem with the system. Like, as in, like the schooling system sort of makes you feel like, oh, you got to hit this bar, which is like your ATAR, right? It's like you got to get this ATAR so you can get into uni. But then like jobs don't work like that. Where it's you got to just as long as you have all the qualifications, you automatically get the job. That you got to you got to sell yourself there, and it's pretty tedious. Don't get me wrong. Like job search, interviews, all of that's very exhausting, but it's effort. You've got to put the time down for it. So yeah, just from the chat, they were sort of just saying the same thing. It is what it is. You can't don't get down on yourself if you don't get the job. You know what I mean? Because that's just the nature of applying for jobs like that. Um,
Yeah, oh, and especially sorry, I was going to say quickly,
no,
not to
go
go
again.
too much, but especially your first job, like it really doesn't matter. Get your foot in the door, get one job, and it's no one cares about anything else that you've really done before that. Then, once you have like a grad job, your uni results do not matter that much. They're like, oh, cool, you've worked at this company for a year, you've done this. That is way more important to them. So as long as you're doing something and you're working somewhere, you can move up. You can move to places you'll enjoy more. So like, I guess beggars can't be choosers with it sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. Um, sort of, I guess going from that. So knowing that you had that job, you're getting ready to work full time once you finished uni. Was there anything that you got done before you started?
I did get some travel done, which is what I really wanted to do. So when I got the job, I was meant to start of 2020, and I was like, oh, whatever. I kind of would have liked to start mid-year. I couldn't. It wasn't what they were offering. I'll take what I can get. Want to get to traveling, and then they pushed it back to mid-year. I'm like, oh, sick. I can do heaps of travel. So I think that was that was something I really wanted to do is just get a little traveling, which I think we'll talk about a bit later anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, that was really the main thing for me. And I guess just spend my spare time, play Smash. That's what I was enjoying at the time in my final year. So I did a lot of that.
Now, was there anything that you wish you got to do before you started, but you didn't get the chance to get sorted?
Um, Nothing really, except for more travel. COVID messed that one up, but because I did spend like 3 months or so in COVID not working, and I guess you honestly that's the main one that comes to mind. I think
Yeah,
I
I
got
mean
most of the stuff I wanted to do down there.
that's fair enough, right? It's like you kind of got stuck. It's like, oh, I had the chance, as in time, but you literally couldn't go anywhere, so it's just unlucky. Now, how did you find that change from that university sort of lifestyle to full time work? And how does the the different schedules feel like in comparison to each other?
I feel like the best way to sum it up is that real life work is so much more structured, and you get, which is good and bad because it also means that you get less freedom with how you want to use your time. So, say for example, with uni, it's like I want to hang out with my friend like all day on Tuesday. I don't doesn't matter like other than I guess lectures, but I didn't really go to lectures. I kind of just watch them online later anyway. Um, it doesn't really matter what day you pick as long as you do within that week. You get all the shit you have to get done.
Yeah,
So I could be like, oh, I'm gonna hang out all Tuesday. I'm gonna do all of this, and I'm just gonna push whatever I was doing Tuesday onto Wednesday. And with work, you kind of can't do that because you basically have to be present for 7, 8 hours a day. Not always, but for me at least, that's the case. It's like I can't just shuffle it around and stay up for 12 hours one night because I need to do an assignment that I didn't do the 5 days before.
yeah. No, it's. I think that's I think all in all, overall, honestly, I feel like working is better, but that's because I do a cushy office job, right? If I was working, like physically working, I would say it's hard because obviously you're tired um, after work. I mean, it's mentally draining, right? Don't get me wrong, but being physically exhausted is just like a whole nother thing, and I don't miss when I was doing that sort of work. I just knew it wasn't for me. I wasn't cut for it, like full stop. So I just said, all right, I need to smarten up, make sure I get some sort of job where I can just sit on my butt all day and you know just think instead, so I can be like mentally exhausted and have a nap later instead of just being so tired I don't want to do anything.
Mm. I like that you use the word draining because that is exactly what it is. People are like, oh, how are you tired? Like, you just sat down for 8 hours at a computer. I'm like, yeah, I'm not tired physically. Like, I can go to the fucking gym, but I am like drained mentally. It is like staring at a screen tires you out.
It's
So, yeah, draining, such a good word for it.
legitimately how I feel. Like at the end of the day, I mean now I'm at home, obviously working from home, but it's the same deal. Like I literally turn off the screen, lay down, um, and just so I'm not looking at a screen, like I'll just go anywhere and just like have a nap or just like stare at anything that's not a screen for like half an hour. You know, for me, I have dinner early, and then I can go back to good screen. Afterwards when my brain sort of reset a little bit.
The good screen, bad screen. I think that's
Yes.
something that actually like a lot of people maybe don't understand as well who don't work. I mean, maybe it's different with online school and stuff now, but they'll be like, come like when I was in high school, I'd come home, play playing League of Legends or something, play video games, and it's like, oh, sick. But I'll finish work now. And it's like I've just stared at a screen for 8 hours. Like I want to go for a walk. I want to go for my little old man stroll or something. Like just get me away from the bad screen.
Yeah, it's like a genuine disconnect, and especially like working from home, where 90% of the home, sorry, 90% of the time, it's like the same screen too. You know,
Mm.
so it's like you can't do anything about that. It's just like I need to physically separate myself from these two spaces so that I can actually chill out.
Yeah, and like when I was working in person, I guess like meetings were almost like a break for me because it's like I'm not looking at the screen anymore, not coding. I can just like look and talk to people. And now that's kind of been substituted out for just like a Zoom call, and it's still screen, and my emails are still popping up in the corner, and it's something I do miss from it. Honestly, working in the office, there's
Yeah.
not heaps I missed, but that's one of them for sure.
No, definitely the human interaction is a pretty big deal. And like before, it was like when we were working from home, but we could still go places, it was fine because I could still have my own like social interactions with my friends. But now it's like can't see them, can't see my colleagues. It's just a bit depressing when you just look at these screens and you know the 500 technical difficulties you have to try and run like a very basic meeting because everyone's like boomers. It's just really frustrating. Um, Now with work in general, like what do you feel like the hardest part is of like the working the 9 to 5?
The hardest part is doing it every single day. It's there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's not like uni. Like we talked about before, like how great like the mid-year break is, like how great mid-sem break even is. It's just one week, or like the 4 months you get off the end of the year. Like that, you don't have that. Like I'm looking forward. I'm like, oh cool, I get a public holiday in a few weeks. That's what I have to look forward to. And it's not like you graduate the job, you don't finish and do something else. Like you have to like obviously be self motivated, and if you're not enjoying it, find somewhere else or get promoted or change something, which is all fine. Like there's opportunities, but you do miss that kind of almost light at the end of the tunnel that you'll get your break soon. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think another thing, I know Masters just mentioned as well. It's like, how do you not burn out with 9 to 5? And it's really just setting small goals or making sure that you're willing to take breaks. It's the mistake I made when I started working was I tried to save as much leave as I could. Um, and it made sense because I had long-term goals. It's like, oh, I'm going to go overseas for 6 weeks in the future, right? And my whole thing was I'm going to finish CPA and then go overseas for like 3 months or something. Um,
mm,
and then I didn't take any leave the year before to try and make that happen. And I was so burnt out that it was actually affecting not just my work, but just my attitude towards work. You know, um, you have to take breaks and be willing to just take. You can take annual leave to make just a long weekend or something. You know, and when you do have that leave, it's you use it. You know, um, like you don't necessarily have to go away or anything, but it's just being like, okay, this is just gonna be like mental reset, like weekend, long weekend, where I just like do things to look after myself. You know, just treat yourself or whatever it may be. But you just have to break it up. If you just constantly work and work and work, you burn out, like you said, and it's gonna affect everything you do. So
yeah, and like I guess to answer the question of how do you not get burnt out, it's like if you're not taking breaks, you do get burnt out, and it sucks. And I've basically made the mod mistake, and I've taken I think since I started mid last year, I've taken I think 2 days of leave. So I've made that mistake, but I've had like I think I've managed the long weekends well when I get them, and we do have forced annual leave at the end of the year, so I had some time off end of last year. But I've definitely been burnt out a few times. My work's talked about it. They talk about it a lot. They recommend just take a day off, long weekend, shut off the screen, like mute all the emails on your phone, don't look at anything, don't think about work. And what I had a long weekend just last weekend, and it was so good just to do nothing on that Friday and not have to think about anything work related.
it's
But yeah,
it's
you'll get burnt out.
legit. Like when you said the long weekend, I literally slept for like 11 hours because I was just like tired, like perpetually. Like I just wasn't catching up on the sleep ever. And now it's hard because the routine's all like screwed up, right? Because it's just like I feel like I'm hardly doing anything. But I literally just needed rest, and that's okay. Like you know what I mean. Like don't feel bad if you need a rest day. You can take leave for this too. You know, if you're exhausted, um, take that time, and it pays off. 90% of the time, it pays off. You'd have that day off, and you probably have to catch up on some work when you come back. But like, I actually don't feel like shit when I go in the
Mm.
next day. You know, instead of me pushing through it for oh, I'm tired, but I'll keep going, and you just keep doing it forever until you eventually just like something's gonna happen. You know, um, it's
Yeah, yeah.
it'll negatively impact your health, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, and like I like what you said with like the kind of work that you do. It's like if you do 30 hours of work with a like normal brain that is functioning, you would still get so much more done than forcing yourself to do 40 of a fucking like half melted, burnt out brain. It's definitely felt that. Like you need those days off. And I guess like you shouldn't look at burnout as like a I guess shameful thing almost. Like it just happens. Everyone gets burnt out and you have to fix that by taking a day off or taking some time off. It's part of, working the 9 to 5
Yeah, and
or anything really.
your reality is you're entitled to it, right? So use it to
Yeah,
help
you
yourself.
earn leave for a reason.
You need to
I
take leave.
I am saving mine up though, like you said you were when you first started. Hopefully, can go away somewhere mid next year. That would be my plan, ideally. Saved up a good chunk of leave, but we'll have to see. And like a lot of works, at least my work does offers like unpaid leave options, which is something I've kind of thought about too. I'm like, how cool would it be just take like a couple months off, just not work, not get
Yeah.
paid, but go do
No,
something else. I don't know,
if you can
work
afford
life.
to do so, it's good. I mean, I've kind of put myself into a bit of a pickle with that part because I can't stop working.
The mortgage.
Yeah, the mortgage prevents me from doing that. But um, look, there's other ways to work around it, right? Like there's at my work we've got like reduced like you get slightly less pay, but you get extra like leave entitlement. So for example, you get
Mm.
paid for 1 week less, but you get an extra week's like an extra week's leave every year. So you get 5 weeks annual leave instead. And you'll see it like a lot of the older people that I work with, they take like an extra 4 weeks of annual leave to get paid less, but they know that they can go on holidays like every month basically and not be worried about leave balances or whatever it may be. So there's options, and I think it's getting better over time. So hopefully, for those that are worried about it, just ask. You've got people. There'll be people within your organization that can help and let you know what options you've got. But enough of the business talk, if you will. I think it's time to talk a little bit more about your Smash.
The reason we're here. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason that you're probably here, not us babbling about work and how we're old and stuff. So we'll start off with the beginning of your Smash career, which is I say towards the end of Smash 4, which I've done a little bit of research on. Now on Oz Smash, because it's hard. I know when you start going that far back, it can be hard to find stuff. But on Oz Smash, the first tournament I found that you attended was Mon Smash 1, which was held in June 2018. Now, was that the first tournament that you attended, or do you even remember that tournament at all?
I kind of remember like a lot of the end of Smash 4, a little bit hazy in the brain, I reckon. But I do remember this one a bit, and it would have been the first Couch Warriors-ish thing I attended. But I think it only happened once. I think it was just like I guess run poorly on the Monash side or something, and I don't remember there being too much turnout because the whole thing was best of five, and I definitely went 0-2. So if the whole thing's best of five and I went 0-2, it's yeah, probably didn't have the biggest turnout.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, because I've never even heard of it either. Like when I found it, like I've literally never heard anyone even mention this. Like, and I've been looking at a lot of these old tournaments and stuff, and you get bits and pieces of info, but yeah, this one was a bit lost. Now I've spoken about I guess JML, I guess on with other people that have been on the podcast. Connor, JML as well. Um, Now, I didn't realize this wasn't like an ultimate only thing, and this was something that was in Smash 4. Now, how long has this been running? And, do you know when this was like JML was like established?
Well, actually, funny thing is, it's not even like the library's not even called JML anymore. It's called Surly, like since Ultimate came out. It's the Surly library. So actually, it was called JML because that was the name when Smash 4 was a thing. I think from memory, because I started uni in 2017, but I think it's been around since like start, maybe even mid 2016. It was definitely around before I was there because I was playing like at the start of first year, just being like a little Jaffy walking around campus like finding things like, oh, it's like a Smash here. I like this game. Not good at it, but I'll play it. So yeah, I would have started playing there, started 2017, but it was definitely there before me.
There you go. All right. Now, for those that may not know, might be a little bit of spoilers in the chat, but the tag you were using at some of these JML tournaments was Green Ninja, and you played Green Ninja, which is very
Yeah,
creative.
the best Greninja skin. Yeah, I did play Greninja in Smash 4. You said tournaments, but I don't even know if we had a Smash 4 tournament. Oh no, okay, we did. We did later on in the end, but I
And
think
the
I
only
was
reason I
joining
know
at
there
like
was some was because I found some old YouTube videos. Because I was going for the research, man. I was going deep. I found like I think it was like the Junior Monash League YouTube channel or whatever it was. And I'm like Green Ninja, and it's like Elmba, and I'm like who are all these fucking people? I mean, it's like it's funny
oh
because
god.
yeah, definitely people that are basically regulars now. It's kind of crazy. Um, was there anything particularly enjoyed about Green Ninja and Smash 4?
Well, I think I played the character since Smash 4 came out because, like, obviously, I don't know. I like my Nintendo games and stuff. I've played Smash since like 64 with my brother. I think Melee was probably out then because I'm not that old. But I definitely played 64 with my brother and stuff. Like, I just played all the Smash games. They're always fun. And I think, yeah, when Smash 4 came out, I was like, oh, I want to play one of the new characters. I like Pokemon and played Greninja, and I was like, Shadow Sneak is the sickest move in the game. It's so cool. I'm teleporting. I'm like 15 or something at the time. I don't know. 15, 16 maybe. I'm like, Shadow Sneak is sneak. Like, Shadow Sneak is just so sick. I love it. And Hydro Pump as well is pretty funny. Just one of those dumb moves. If you know me now, you probably know why I like those kind of things. Like, oh, you push me away.
Yeah.
They fly off the screen.
Oh shit, that's fair enough. So, was there any reason that you just sort of didn't carry Greninja on when we transitioned from Smash 4 to Ultimate?
Yeah, I guess when I was like kind of moving into Ultimate, I was already entering a couple tournaments and getting a bit more competitive with it. And I think I just wanted to play like a less technical character so I could learn the game a bit better, like think about things more. And also, I was starting work when Ultimate came out. Like, I think Ultimate came out, and then a month later, I was working on an internship. So I just didn't have as much time to play the game. Like, I want to play someone, bit less hands on. And I did play K. Rool at the start of Ultimate, so definitely got a bit less tech skill there than Greninja in Smash 4.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, and I definitely relate to like picking the character that suits like the working. You know what I mean? Like that's literally me. It's like you look at Rob, it's like oh he's got this technical stuff, but at the base level, the character's very simple, right? Like it's not overly tech heavy. It's like you can push the character, but when you're starting out, it's a really simple sort of game plan. And when you start working, you realize time's obviously valuable. You don't want to be spending, I had to spend 15 hours in the lab, after I finish work to make sure I understand how this character works. It's like, if I press A,
Mm.
it should do the job, right? Like,
And it's like, yeah, you're right. Rob's definitely one of those characters where it's like you don't need to just like you can play the character after not touching the game for weeks, or whatever. Is I mean, maybe there's some stuff, but the muscle memory, it's not too hard. It's not like say Pikachu or Sheik or something. I don't know. And I don't know. I like those characters where I can just get better at the game by thinking about the game on the train home. I don't want to have to sit in the lab for hours and hours to even like to be able to enter anything.
yeah, no, that's fair enough. So after that event that we'll talk about, the JML or Mon Smash, you entered the July Rambat. Now, do you remember how that felt relative to like those sort of things that were running at Monash?
Um, Not really. So the things running at Monash, I guess, like compared to Mon Smash, this thing was like massive. There was a lot more people, but I don't fully remember this. I don't remember actually. I think I went to two Rambats in Smash 4. I don't really remember either super well, but I do like it was just cool to like meet people and see all these people playing the game. And like I'd heard about some of them because obviously I played Smash 4 like with the JML people since 2017, so I kind of knew a little bit about Oz Smash. I
Hmm.
was friends with Joel as well through outside of Smash. So like I'd heard stories and like meeting these people, like, oh, sick. Like I watched BAM. This person was at BAM. That's cool.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I get you. It's like you knew it, but it's like yeah, it's probably at the point where you're so new, it's not like you don't really think about it too much, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I don't super remember it well, like especially compared to tournaments when I was more, I guess, in the scene. I find it harder to remember the stuff when I was super new.
Now there was one like this interests me as like a RMIT student. So apparently there was an RMIT tournament that year as well in August. Was that like a monthly? Like, do you remember anything about it for starters? And if it was like, I
I
haven't heard anything
definitely
of it.
I remember that we got like a bunch of the general people to go to it, I think, so it was quite beginner friendly. I think the target demographic was just like any uni students, but it ended up basically just being Monash people, and it was just at RMIT. I don't know. But I remember it was pretty like beginner focused. They had like Amis and stuff, and I think it was every couple weeks, but I don't fully remember. And it wasn't like super serious either. At least remembering like there was a pot, but I don't think it was anything like it's not like an EBS type. Everyone's like sweating out over it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like more like a uni sort of level thing. Not overly serious competition, I guess.
Yeah, there was still, I mean there was still like, I think Jack and like Nick and stuff went to it, but it wasn't, yeah, I don't think they were sweating.
No, fair enough. I'm not gonna pick your brain
Oh,
about
actually,
where it
I,
was.
I did just remember one thing from the tournament is
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Ernest got fucking JV3 by Jason or something, and I don't know, maybe someone can, if Ernest in chat or Jason in chat, maybe they'll remember it, but I'm pretty sure that happened. And Ernest was just like freaking out watching the replay back or something about how he got shit on.
Jesus. Now, yeah, we're still going through this Smash 4 phase. So there was a Neko cards that you attended. Now, we've all been, not all of us, because obviously Neko cards doesn't run anymore. But that place has a vibe, and I don't think that would have changed too much from Ultimate when I went there. Do you remember Neko cards then, or what it was about?
I think it was just the same as Ultimate, honestly. It was obviously a lot smaller. And I think I only went to one in Smash 4, but from memory, it was basically just the same vibe as Ultimate, really. Like, if you've been, you kind of understand. It's just like in a small little anime card shop, kind of sums it up.
Yeah, no, that's all. I was just curious to see if like it was anything different. Like, I couldn't imagine it really being any different, but it was just like maybe, you never know.
I think
Uh,
it worked better when it wasn't packed, because definitely the start of Ultimate, it was pretty squishy. There's a fair few people who'd go, and this one was a little bit more empty, which I think worked better for the kind of venue.
do you reckon it was probably just the nature of the like the period of Smash it was in? You know, what I mean, as you're sort of heading towards the later years, or the later part of the game, that it was like more
Yeah, I think
more for sort of
everything
quiet.
Yeah, so I think everything was Smash 4 towards the end, except maybe the last month or so when everyone was kind of coming back for Ultimate, was just kind of dying down compared to how Ultimate is. Uh, so yeah, I think that's just how it was with Smash 4. Game's old.
Yeah, what can you do, right? Just like people moving on, or they're just like DLC, like just making you not want to play the game. Like, fair enough. That's what the nature of the game is. You're going to see people come and go as it goes. Now, Stay Smash was another one. That was in November 2018. That obviously ran for a while in Ultimate. It's not running at the moment, or you know what I mean. It's not running anymore. Um, can you sort of describe what Stay Smashed was like for people that haven't been to Stay Smashed? Because it's quite unique. It's a different vibe, I'd say.
Yeah, so it's at like a bowls club out in the east, and it's like it ran as monthly. And it was pretty chill that you could just like grab a drink there and just have some vibes. People were joking around. I did think the venue was a little bit small, unfortunately, especially compared to some of the nicer ones like the Sunshine venue that we have now, the Super Sunshine one. So it's nothing compared to that. But yeah, it was just nice and it worked well. It was kind of that second monthly, nice tournament on the weekend, and pretty chill vibes in it, I reckon.
I just wish I knew it wasn't actually as far as I thought it was. Because I
I mean,
didn't.
it's not that bad.
It's easy to get to as well, but I just felt like it was so far. I mean, like literally the Arcadium was the first time I went. It's like this literally wasn't that hard to get to. Like I literally could have went to all of these.
Yeah, it was like right near a train station. Like, yes, it's in the east, but it's like what, two trains for you if you're in the west or something. It's fine.
Yeah, it's literally like another 10 minutes out or something. Like it was totally
I
fine.
hope it
Uh,
does come back eventually.
we'll see. I mean, it's
Maybe
hard to
not,
say
but
now,
somewhere
especially.
around there. Especially now, yeah.
Now the final Smash 4 event you attended was EBS 76, which I think was probably the last Smash 4 event. Maybe not. Someone can correct me if it's not. Was there anything special done for the final event?
Oh, I think the last one was the Guff the next day, but I do not think anyone cared about that, honestly, because it's Geelong, whatever. But so this is basically the last good event, and they did have some special stuff. There was a bit of a crew battle. I don't remember exact details, but something about P9. You can't stop the P9 train, and they had like a crew battle to celebrate it and stuff. And it was a good tournament for me because I got my first ever win on the 40 in the last tournament, so a bit late. But I remember I beat Vine Green at that tournament. I was pretty happy. I was like, oh, cool, I beat someone who's like on the ranking.
Yeah, that's like a big milestone, right? And I think it's something you kind of take for granted as you sort of get into the scene. You're heavily involved, but like your first like player on the 40 when you beat them is it's huge. Like it's a massive win. Um, much to the like dismay of the person that you've beaten, right? Because they're obviously just like, yeah, whatever, man. But like you're like wrapped. It's like a good win.
And it's especially hard, I think, in Smash 4 when these people played the game for so long and I'm joining in right at the end. Like, there's a lot of room to catch up on, which is why I think I wanted to join in at the end of Smash 4. Because when Ultimate started, I'm like, this is like the fresh start. I can do well here. This will be cool. It's a new game. But I want to, like, get in the scene a little bit first, figure out the game a bit.
Oh yeah, because you would have known like Ultimate was coming by that point as well.
Yeah, that was a big reason I was kind of attending more at the end, I think.
Yeah, just sort of getting that one up, and at least understanding the tournament structure, how it sort of works. It's good to know because it's completely different, right? Like I've played Smash my entire life, but it was completely different when I went to a tournament, right? Because I wasn't just beating up my friends that didn't know what they were doing. It's like people that know what they're doing. There's like a whole structure to how you play. The bands and stuff. It's a good way to start. Just go in head first. I guess people are always willing to help too. Um,
Definitely.
Now we move on to Ultimate. So that released on the 7th of December 2018, which is crazy to think about because that's nearly 3 years or something. I don't even know how long that
Oh,
is. It's a long
um,
time, holy moly. Now, given that you're already playing competitive at that point, did you do anything in particular to sort of like celebrate the release of the game?
I did go to the midnight launch, and because I'd been to some Smash 4 tournaments, there was like familiar faces, which I thought was really cool. So I went to the midnight launch and just like stayed with some mates who live in the city, just somewhere to crash. And like played a bit, but they didn't play like super competitively. And then like JML had another meetup the next day, so went straight from there, go play more Smash. Played Smash all day there. Yeah, it was just like a lot. Played a lot when it first came out.
And yeah, understandably so, right? Like it was a pretty massive deal, and I'm pretty sure I played like probably 40 hours. Like I took what's the 7th for Friday? I feel like it was. Don't mind me. I'm just being a nerd and checking.
I'm trying
Uh,
to think. I would
it
imagine
was a
I'd be really
Friday.
shit on break.
It was a Friday, so I took the day off. I definitely took the day off, and I just played all day. Um, and I'll just like have my mates over. It's like I've unlocked more characters. Just come to my house and just fucking hang out. And we just played for like another 8 hours. Um, now the first tournament that you entered was an EBS, and you played K. Rool. So what drew you to the character? I guess I know we sort of touched on it a bit. Was there anything out like because you obviously started? I believe you're working at that point. Was there anything that drew you to that character in particular?
Well, yeah, like we said, the bit of the less technical thing was exciting for me. Um, and I just played like I messed around with all the characters on that one day at JML, just playing with everyone. And I think the Cable saw a lot of success, as it did at the start of the game. He got some silly things. So like I'm just gonna play this character for a bit. I wasn't super committed to them. I was like, I probably won't play them forever, but I'm having fun with them now. I still have fun with them, honestly. They're such a fun character. But yeah, I just want to play them. And I think at that tournament, I'm pretty sure I went 2-2, which I think was the best I'd ever done, like better than anything I'd ever done in Smash 4. I guess it's a bit of a pretty big motivation booster. Pretty sure I beat like Pat Sanders or something, which is funny. He was like PR in Smash 4, and some cunt just rocks up and KO down throws him. He's never seen it in his life.
It's like literally match up in experience because like I've never seen this character.
Oh, and I lost to fucking Ernest. I lost to Ernest at that tournament. It was 2-1 last hit, and I've never seen someone mash harder in their life out of cable down throw. So
Oh, what a sweet.
unfortunate loss for me, but
Good old sweetie Ernest. Am I right? No. No, you tend to couch warriors cross up. That's like a semi major basically, right? Now I wasn't in the scene at the time, so I just want to know was that at the same venue that it was at the second one? Or
No, it wasn't. It was in sorry, it was in like more of a warehousey thing. And it was actually a lot more of a major than it is now. So this one was part of like a Dragon Ball Fighters World Tour event, I think. So there was like people from overseas, from like Japan, I'm pretty sure America, who all came down for that. So that was the main focus. But Smash still had like interstaters and stuff, and it was a 2-day event in a pretty big venue. There was like 150 plus people, I'm pretty sure, for Smash. So like it was pretty big.
yeah, I mean, fair. Yeah, that's like kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, the game's still new, right? So there's obviously a little bit more like there's a lot of interest, especially at the start of the game. These sort of things. Yeah, I just didn't. I legit didn't know that. I really just wanted to know. I was like, wait, is that the
Yeah.
same place? But no, it's somewhere else. Okay. Now you continued to play K. Rool like January, February, and then you made the switch to me Sword Fighter. Now, probably the character that's probably the least played in the whole roster. Like, it's like sort of a fight between like Gunner, Sword Fighter sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's one of the me's, right? But what
Hmm.
drew you to this fucking character? Like, why?
I ask myself that every time I enter bracket. I'm like, why the fuck did I play this character? No, I've always liked kind of underplayed, I guess, indie type characters, whatever, the ones that other people aren't doing. And I think part of that is that I just like figuring things out. And one of my favorite things with video games in general is like whenever there was a new Hearthstone expansion or like some like new content for anything, is just jumping in, playing a bunch at the start, and figuring out stuff for myself. I just find that really interesting. And when you're playing a character that no one else plays, it's really what you get to do. And they do somewhat play similarly to Carol as well, with like that two projectile neutral, at least like when you're learning the character.
Hmm.
It's pretty easy to I found to adapt to them.
No, that makes sense. And from what I could see, comparing some results, you're getting some pretty immediate success with the character. You're getting some higher placings than you were getting with the K rule, And I guess the question I wanted to ask was there? Do you know what it was that was attributing to the success?
I think it was honestly just me getting better at the game more than anything. It's like you get better so much faster when you're first joining. Like if you're putting in a bit of time and trying it all, like exponentially, there's so many more things to improve on that it's just easier to improve. Whereas if you've played for like 3 years or 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you're just running out of stuff to get better at.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I can see that. Um, and I guess with a character like that, it's also you can be a bit more tricky. You know what I mean? And just the nature of like having all these different, like obviously from my understanding and from how I've seen you play over the years, like you haven't changed your move set very much. Um, pretty much as long as I can remember until they buffed the Falcon Kick.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna have to get ready for the when lockdown ends. When lockdown ends, more moves,
Oh
new tournaments.
shit! there's more coming. Get ready for it. That's all I can say. I've seen one, and that's about it. So we'll have to wait and see, which will probably be another while, unfortunately. But you entered the March Ultimate Rambat, and you made it out of pools, which was a pretty significant improvement from your results in Smash Four, which I don't think you made it out of pools at that point. Um, like at Smash Four, I think it was a little bit harder as well because it was round robin, most likely. But do you remember the difference, I guess, between those two? Like your
Yeah,
Smash Four and your Ultimate Rambats.
you're definitely right. Smash 4 was way harder to make it out. One round robin, two, just like most people know how to play the game. But I think in the last round I entered for that, it was September maybe. I was one game off of making out of pools. I think I lost like 2-1 to Sia the Shulk. I'm pretty sure. I was looking through the brackets earlier today. I'm pretty sure that was it. And I was like, if I beat him, I would have made it out of pools. So I was pretty close to the end of Smash 4. And obviously I'd gotten a lot better. So I beat I just don't remember who I beat, but I beat someone to make it out, and I think I won the first round of out of pools as well. So I did pretty well for myself,
Yeah, awesome.
considering. Yeah, that was my first alternate Rambat. I'd just been busy on the other weekends, so I hadn't gone to January or February, which I'd heard were like massive. There's like so many people, and then it not died down, but like that initial hype from everyone wanting to try the game to like the people who aren't enjoying the game not playing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always going to be in that first couple of months, people are freaking out. Just like I just want to go to anything that's like related to the game, and then a lot of people will drop off pretty much immediately on the first couple of months. And now, event I was looking it up in April. You got your first top threes. You got third place at Pixel. Do you remember that at all?
I do because it was right after EG4, so it was not that stacked at all. Um, but I did beat like I got my little list because I was taking a couple notes. When I was looking through the old Smash things. So I beat Llewellyn, Conan, Leisha, and Ma. Just funny because most of them are like, if you're playing now, it's like don't really know, but they were like all on the 50, like they're all top 50, top 40 or something at the time.
Yeah.
So it was still solid wins, and like it was still good, but there definitely was only like I think Bin and Booper were the only PR players there anyway. So
Okay.
it wasn't like super stacked, but yeah. And then I don't think I got top three in singles for like 2 more years after that. So a bit of a dry spell.
I mean, it happens to everyone, right? Like I got third at my first tournament, and it's because there was 8 people after BAM. And then I didn't get anywhere near that for a very, very long time. So I completely understand. Now,
But yeah,
I guess the next thing I want to talk, like, sort of segued into itself, I guess, was I want to talk a little bit about BAM 11 because I missed it. Because I attended the first local after BAM 11. I didn't know about Smash tournaments yet. You tell me a little bit about your BAM experience. What was it like?
yeah, you really missed out. So I was like I remember I was like looking at Phantom and EG4 because they both happened before, but I was just busy at the time. Like I said, I was working, so I didn't really want to take time off, especially on an internship. It's a bit more weird. They only gave me like 5 days off for 6 months,
Hmm.
and I had to use them for other stuff. Plus, just like wasn't super committed to the game yet. But I was so excited to go to a major. I was like, oh yes, I can finally go and I don't have to travel and take time off work. This is great. Uh, I think it was such a good event. Like obviously you probably know it's like Melbourne Convention Center. It was stacked. This one was like 300 plus people because the first like big major for Ultimate,
Hmm.
I reckon. People come down from every state, and I was kind of in the scene enough to know of people. Like I'd use Twitter or whatever. So I know of people, and I'm like meeting them all for the first time in person. It was really good. Great experience. They should definitely do another BAM eventually.
Fingers crossed. I can tell you that much. Like I said, it's a bit devo. Like we couldn't get it to happen this year, but we Bank did what it needed to do. Like you know what I mean. It was as close as we could get given the circumstances. But I am really looking forward to a post-COVID BAM where it's like it's legit. It's the real deal. It's not like there's no compromise, I guess. And
Hmm.
we'll just have to wait and see. Um, Now, did you do much with like outside of the event with other smashes while you're at BAM? I guess, I guess for me, it's more. I think it's a big part of the major experience. You know what I mean? It's spending time with the people as well, not just oh, I went to the tournament and I went home. But it depends on obviously what point you were in your sort of smash career. Did you know many people and stuff like that? So did you do much of that at all?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I just like really enjoyed meeting new people. So I was always going around like not even just asking for friendly, sometimes just chatting, like, oh, I know where you're from, like how you going, what's up? Like it's just nice to meet people. And it's if you view it as a social event, that's great. especially the after party. I remember the BAM after party. It's pretty good. Definitely enjoyed getting on the beds with everyone. That was a great time. And honestly, if you don't like really like at least some of the people that you're playing Smash with every day, every week, whatever, like you're not gonna keep playing the game or you're not gonna have fun doing it. Like
Yeah, no,
it's
hundred
it's a
percent.
social thing at the end of the day for like 99% of people.
It's definitely a thing that made it very easy for me because if I didn't like the people, I would have stopped ages ago. Um, there's so many cool people, and it's not like oh, it's cool because we play Smash. No, they're awesome people. Um, I look forward to just hanging out. Well, obviously now we can't, but I'd enjoy just getting dinner with everyone. Like that was my big thing with SAS. Like I didn't care about winning or anything at SAS. I just knew it was a good opportunity that everyone would get together in the city, and then we could get something for dinner later. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
the
The
human
social aspect's
part.
so good.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's very important, and I'm hoping we get to that point again where we can actually, interact with other humans and not have to stay at home all the time. And then I guess to sort of round off this section, what you got 42nd on the Vic Player Showcase V2, and that was from March to May 2019. Was that a goal that was on your mind at the time?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously I'd known about the 40 since Smash 4, and it was a pretty big goal of mine. I think I wasn't like super cut they didn't make it on the first one. Like, I didn't really expect to. I'm like, oh, it would have been cool if I was a bit better. And, no, so it was definitely a goal of mine to make it on for at least the second one. And I think when the first one came out, I'm pretty sure I asked Jay, I was talking to Jason or something like, oh yeah, like how far-ish of like, I don't know, I guess what do I have to improve on? He's like, like just go to the Rambats. You didn't go to any. And I was like, okay. So then I went to all the Rambats and then I made it on because I think it made it out of pools for both of the Rambats that season. So yeah, the monthlies help.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's always some weight, regardless, and that's just also because lots of good players are there, right? So it's a good chance to make your upsets and stuff like that. It's a bit harder at your local, you know what I mean? If it's the same people every week, you're not really necessarily proving anything different, or it's hard to judge across the whole list of people that are playing this game over that period. How are you supposed to compare them?
Especially there's so many at the start of Ultimate. Like there's, I don't know, it feels like I don't know if I say less, like because it feels like people go to a lot and there are still a lot of people, but start of Ultimate was something else. Like you have all the Brawl Vets and stuff coming back too.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm going to talk a little bit about your interstate adventures and major events. The main reason I'm doing this with you is because you've played so many fucking tournaments, man. I cannot talk about all of them. I think it's better off we focus on the major events and sort of go through those because you've been to a lot. Um, there's a lot. Let's just put it that way. So I'm gonna sort of stick towards the majors stuff where you've travelled interstate, and everything in between. You can sort of fill in the gaps if it's necessary. But I guess the first thing that came up interstate wise, I believe, was July 2019, when you went to WA for Big Win Champs. Can you describe that event for people that haven't been? Like I watched the event from home, but like I didn't really know much about it or anything. Like for people that were actually there.
Yeah, Big Win Champs was just really good. Like it had really good production value. They flew out fucking Coney for the event. Like they had a great venue, like a great stream. It was just so well done. Probably like the best production value I've seen in like an ultimate major for Australia. Uh, and yeah, it was just a great time. I'm glad I finally got to go because, like I said, I was thinking kind of on the fence about Phantom and EG4, didn't go. And then for this one, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I was in mid-year break, done with my placement, I'm a uni student again, not doing anything. And I remember I actually stayed with Benjo for a week, who I met at BAM. So another part of the social aspect is just like it's just nice to know people in the States. It's really cool. And so nice to see him again, see Perth people I'd met. So I guess like almost a reunion if once you've met people before from
Yeah.
out of
Once
state.
you start hanging out with, like, you meet them when you go out of state or you go to their state, and then once they come, like majors come, they're there as well, and it's so good. I can't wait. It's making me sad actually at the same time, but it's something that I guess we get to look forward to in the future. So, um,
Mm.
was there a particular moment that was your favorite at that event?
That is a really easy question to answer. It's shitting on Jack Gorman in beer pong, and then he drank from the fucking flamingo. He had to he just like had to scull a beer from a flamingo or something, and it was never
Uh,
forget it.
it's a moment, fellas. That's all I can say, and it's part of the fun. Obviously, if you're over 18, but It's what makes these things fun. It's the out of tournament activities as well. It's not just the tournament itself. Well, fast forward to August. You travelled to Queensland for Sunny Side Up. So that was the first major I was actually aware of. Um, but I was still like on the fence, and I really should have went because I was friends with all the people that were going. And I was like, I don't know, man. Can I justify going to like interstate to play some video game? You know what I mean? That's like how my head was. Um,
Mm.
so what did you think of that event overall? I guess.
Well, I really liked it, but I think for me it was a bit more of an unfortunate time to go. It was start of my final semester of uni, and I couldn't go for too long. Obviously, like with WA, I went for a full week, played in a bunch of like locals before and stuff, and that was great. With this one, I think I just went from like a Friday to Sunday or Friday to Monday. Like I entered the local before and then the tournament. So yeah, definitely didn't get the most out of it. I would recommend going for a full week if possible.
Hmm.
Um, and then, so like because of that, I missed out on a few things like the egging of Ben Gold, which happened the day before I went. Bit unfortunate I missed that, but it was still great to be able to go, and I'm glad I could go to another state and experience that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then the end result was, you just fell short of top 64, but you ended up winning Redemption. So how was that, like, sort of overall experience? Like the major, you know, going through that whole mix of emotions that you have to go through when you're at a major sort of event.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I think in WA I made it out of pools and then won another set as well. So I was like kind of high hopes, I guess, for myself. And I think I was seeded to make it out. I just had a bit of an unfortunate bracket. Like I threw against Atlos, I remember, and then pretty sure Spike got upset in winners, so I had to cop him to make it out of losers. And never played Gauss Junior in my life, so
Yeah, that's a
it's a
rough
bit.
cop. Upsets is
Um,
like super scary when you're at a major because it's just like you, it literally changes everything. Like your bracket is meant to work this way, and now you got this dude that shouldn't be there, um, and it just fucks up everything. Like I
yeah,
think
it's unfortunate.
it's weird because you look at my Phantom run, right, where it's like the upset was that I had to play Ari, but it was like literally probably the best case scenario in terms of like matchup. It's a character I was playing every week pretty much because I was playing against Saki. You know what I mean, like stuff like that. But like in any other case, it would have been probably like the nightmare fuel. It's like I got to verse this PR player from Queensland, to
Mm.
make it out of pools. Um, yeah, that's the nature of a double limb bracket, though. It's
Yeah,
very hard.
sometimes it's good for you, sometimes it's bad for you. But like you said, I did win Redemption, which in my heart is like better than just making out of pools and losing round one or some shit. Like in my heart, that was better.
um, I guess so. On the VPS V3, you placed 30th. So that's 12 places higher than the previous. Pretty big jump. And that's just you getting way more consistent placings than in the past. Was there anything that you felt like you were doing different in that period at all, or was it just like you said, just natural development of your game plan?
Yeah, natural development is definitely part of it. To be completely honest, I wasn't employed anymore. I was back at uni, so I think that definitely gave me a lot more time just to get better at the game.
Hmm.
Um, that was like honestly amazing. And also like I'm playing at JML again because I wasn't there first semester. I was on placement. Come back, I can play the game a lot more. I was just playing the game more, getting generally better, and I had more time to go to stuff. So really everything was working out. It's probably the explanation for the big jump.
Hmm. No, that's fair enough. Now, MEO, you placed 17th. And now this is probably the tournament with the highest DQ rate in like the history of the planet. Before Wi-Fi tournaments, that is. What did you think about the event though overall?
Yeah, you're definitely right. I think it was free to register, so you didn't even have to like you had to buy tickets to go to the event, but you could register for free online. So there was like 200 plus entrants and then like 100 DQ'd or something. And one of them should have been Jono, but he's a hack, whatever. He didn't get DQ'd. I think that's Bin's fault. I don't remember the full story, but I'm pretty sure it's something about Bin stopping Jono from getting DQ'd.
You tell them how it is. All right.
Top player privilege. But yeah, it wasn't that special. We are kind of off in the corner of the Melbourne Esports Open, but it was nice. Like a couple instators came down. It was an alright event in the end, but it wasn't really anything too fancy. Not much more than like wasn't anything more than a Ranny.
Hmm. No, fair enough. I guess the next one to talk about is Oasis, which was in January 2020. Now, I watched a fair bit of this one, so pretty aware of what was happening, at least from the stream perspective. But can you tell us a bit about your time there when you were in WA?
Was I had a great time because like I've been wanting to go back to Perth since Big Win Champs. Honestly, I was like, oh yeah, met a lot of nice people. I want to go back again, have a great time, and yeah, it was just so nice to see everyone again. And it kind of worked out well because I think I couldn't make it to Big Cheese, which happened before then because I was in New Zealand, I'm pretty sure, and I
Hmm.
couldn't make it to Phantom because I was overseas again after that. So it was kind of like right in the middle. I think there was also Meta Shift, but I'm pretty sure I was away for that as well. So I was kind of missing out on all the majors around it. Like, well, it works out perfectly. I'll just go to this, and yeah, Perth's really great. Me and Jacob went down Pisky,
Hmm.
stayed with Courtney, our friend, and yeah, it was a really good time.
I still have to make for Trek at some point because it seems like, like you said, it's pretty fun. It's somewhere I haven't been before. Um, we'll work it out hopefully in the next year. Now, I think it's pretty important to point out here that you did play doubles with Leon during that event. Um, what was it like playing with PGRU player? Because
Well,
that's obviously quite a different standard to like most people you'll probably play in Australia, right?
yeah, that's true. I actually, like the way I did doubles with him, I almost jokingly like shot him a Twitter DM because I'm like, I'm sure he's doing doubles with someone else. Let's do it as a joke. I'm like, you want to do doubles? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I guess, and this is like months since the event was announced. So I guess no one else had just asked by that point. So he's like, yeah, sure. Then we did doubles. But he was a lot of fun. He's just a really chill guy, down to earth. I feel like some people, it's a real problem, honestly, in a lot of things, but they kind of put top players on like a pedestal and treat them like better than anyone else. I'm like, it's just a guy. He just wants to chill, get some drinks, whatever. Like, I don't know, treat him like a person. It's a bit weird to dehumanize these people just because they're good at the game.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, right? And honestly, when I was watching, like, you weren't like, oh, he just like completely carried you, right? Like, you played it smart, um, and I think you were holding your own. It wasn't like you were literally just doing your job in that team composition, right? Like, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, he's just doing everything, and you're just like jumping around like an idiot, and he's just winning 2v1. Like, there was like legit strategy going on. It was pretty sick to watch, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I didn't feel useless in it, and I don't know. I reckon I don't reckon he would have won if he was playing with like an O2 or maybe. I don't think he could have carried that hard.
Yeah, like I mean, like you understand how the game works, and you're obviously not a bad player. So it's like it's enough. It's not like you said, just some rando dude that like never played before, can't hold the controller or something. Yeah, no, fair enough. I guess we'll head on to the Japan trip. This is awesome because not many people have the luxury of doing this. So in February 2020, you went to Japan. I guess before we talk about the Smash part, just how was the trip as a whole?
Yeah, actually, sorry, I've just remembered the just back on Oasis for one
Yeah,
second. I just
sure.
remembered Leon's wonderful shoey, and I just had to bring it up, and that was about it. Just at the after party, bit of a ritual if any international people ever come to Australia, is that they do have to do a shoey at the after party of the major. I think it's just pretty important to our culture.
That's a fair cop, and people needed to know that. It's also very disgusting, but it happened, and I've seen it,
It's
so I can
how it is.
confirm.
But yeah, onto the Japan trip. As a whole, it was just really great. So I've actually been to Japan a couple times before. I did study at Japanese in high school, so I went with like a school trip in year 10, and I went after high school, again, just to like see host family and stuff again. And it was really nice to still be in touch with my host family and stuff because it's been, well, it was 2020, so it would have been 6 years since I'd been initially to see them when I was in high school and stay with them the first time. And I'm still in touch with, like, I saw my host mom and host sister, and we caught up. And a couple of friends as well from high school there that we're still in touch with. So that was kind of like the most amazing part for me. But yeah, it was just such a great experience. And I got back the week before you had to start quarantining if you came back from overseas. So I got pretty lucky with the timing too, won't lie.
It's like win-win because yeah, that was because you missed Phantom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's right because it was like not long. Either you came back around that week or whatever it was, and then everything went to shit. So, um, let's not look at the negatives. Look at the positive of this Japan trip. I guess probably the best way to look at it. So you attended some tournaments while you were there. Can you tell us a little bit about like what events you were attending and some of the players that you might have played against?
Yeah, so I went to a few tournaments. Made sure to not go to too many because I was traveling with Raina. I'm not gonna like leave her in a corner or just drag her around to Smash tournaments the whole time. But I did. I snuck in a few. So I remember the first one I went to was an Osaka local, and I was a bit worried because like I don't know, I hadn't really played Smash, hadn't thought about Smash. A bit worried about how I do, but and it wasn't like a massive local. I want to say like maybe 30 something people, 20 to 30 around there. Like
Hmm.
not too big, but there was few big players. Big Como from Smash Four, Como Rikiri was there, and he robbed me of the set 2-1, but would have been a story to tell if I beat him. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed the Osaka local though. I had wasn't a big venue. It was just really chill vibes and some nice people.
Okay, was it just the? Did you do a couple, or was it just the one?
Oh, sorry, yeah, there were some other tournaments. I was going one by one.
Yeah, yeah,
We had
sorry, okay,
yeah, so that was the only one I went to in Osaka though, down in
hmm
the south. And then I went in Hokkaido, like in the north snowy area. I went to two. One was a major actually. It just worked out. Like I booked all the Japan trip and stuff, and I started looking at what tournaments are going. And then I'm like, oh shit, there's a major in Hokkaido. That had like 150 plus people, I think, and that was probably my favorite experience of the in terms of the tournaments there. Um, just like one, it's a major, two, crowd. And Hokkaido I found was the nicest experience for me as like I guess international person coming in just entering tournaments because they probably don't get as many visitors. It's not the most popular area, especially for Smash.
yeah,
So they were very friendly. I guess I got a bit of attention there because no one else really came from outside of Hokkaido for the major except there was a couple people from other areas of Japan, but it wasn't. No one came from overseas, obviously.
yeah, yeah, which is
Um,
fair enough.
Yeah, and I guess the last one, oh, and I went to another little Stay Smash type monthly there too, but that was quite similar vibes. It was just nice to see people twice there. And the Tokyo local I went to was the last one, and that was I guess a massive contrast where it's this was like the big one that closes in 1 minute if you don't sign up fast enough, and they're
Jesus.
like they're really used to getting like international people, anyone who's visiting and is interested in Smash, like that's the kind of the big one with all of the top Japanese players. So they had like obviously not as much attention and stuff. It's pretty normal for them to see people coming into it from anywhere around the world.
Yeah,
But it was cool that you got to kind of, I guess, meet those top players, I suppose, sit down and play friendlies with everyone. So that aspect of it was really interesting.
oh, that's awesome. And I guess can you sort of give us some perspective of like some how that experience was like in comparison to like our locals, right? Because they're obviously run quite differently. Can you sort of like explain how they're different for people that are listening?
Yeah, actually, I found it surprisingly similar. That was the interesting part to me. It's almost like a universal language where you go up there and so many things are so similar. I found everyone's like nice and quite welcoming and stuff. And yeah, like at the end of the day, it's just a Smash point. You're just playing Smash with people, and it was really chill. They did run best of one pool, round robin pools for the major, which is something very different, I suppose. That was an interesting way of doing it. You have to write down how many stocks you had left after each game, and if you won or lost, and then that's how they do tiebreakers. Is how many stocks you had.
Okay,
Yeah, that was something.
there you go. That's, I mean, I guess that's just probably to do with time constraints, right? Like they're trying to really push it all through, and doing a best of one kind of solves the time issue. Probably not the best competitive measure, but it must work for them. So there you go. That's something.
Yeah, I mean, they ran a whole major in like 1 day of like 160 plus people with Ami's brackets and stuff. So definitely, definitely had to speed it up somehow.
I mean, I didn't even realize that was a factor. That included that just makes it like completely makes sense, right? That the compromise here is you make the pools fast so that you can get everything running. So yeah, it makes sense. Was there any memorable moments that you want to share from these tournaments?
I've got a few. I mean, there was like the couple like good win or couple like good close wins almost with the sets. I remember I went game three last hit with Ocean. I think he's like Japanese PR or was Japanese PR, the role player. You follow
Very
him?
good, Rob. Very good,
He
Rob.
was like he's played since Brawl, and I was like, I remember I lost game one like last hit, and I like shit on game two. I'm like I've got this, and then I lose game three last hit, and hurts my soul. And same with Kermer, but it's like it's whatever. At the end of the day, and it's also like just a local, but it was a lot of fun getting to play against them as an experience. Same with the Tokyo one. I think I played against Im. Maybe Ernest was like freaking out because he thinks Im's the most beautiful human being on the planet. Um, so like getting to see those big names. In terms of stories, I remember there's a really funny one. Is that in the Hokkaido Major, my pool captain, he's like one of the big names, like TOs there. Plays me brawler as well. He's a really great guy. Still like interacting on Twitter and stuff. Really nice. And he was my pool captain too, so we were just talking a lot. Great to meet everyone. But when he had like an hour long lunch break, he's like, "Yeah, you got 1 hour to like be back here for top 64. It's all chill. Like, go get your lunch." So I go out, and then like I check my phone while I'm eating lunch with Ragnar. Like I still got like half an hour or something and chilling. And he's like, he's freaking out, like adding me on Twitter and stuff doing the tweets, like, "Oh, sorry, I meant you have 45 minutes, not an hour." And he's like so apologetic about it. It's really nice that they kind of because I have heard horrible stories about America from I think Ben Gold was telling me one not too long ago. He's like almost got DQ'd because he went outside to eat a fucking sandwich. Like America is so strict on the DQs, and I saw some other stuff with I saw some drama about it on Riptide about people getting DQ'd unnecessarily, and the fact that it's like this guy just met from his pool, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I took like 15 minutes off. Like it's fine. Go eat your lunch." Like I don't know, it's so much more genuine and nice than just fuck you, DQ'd you went outside.
Yeah, it's clearly a culture difference, right? Like naturally, he's told you one thing, so he's basically just apologizing because he's told you the wrong thing. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah, like
think
it barely mattered, but the fact that he's like, yeah, going out of his way to do it, it's so nice.
yeah, it's awesome. No, that's cool. I think that's really like part of the experience when you travel. Especially when it's like a non like English speaking country. It's like the culture difference is really it's really nice to see, especially Japan. It's somewhere I've been before as well. It's really good. Um, I enjoy it. I guess the other thing I wanted to know was like, what are some of the other things outside of the tournaments, that you enjoyed while you're in Japan? Was there anything particular that
Yeah,
you went for, or did outside of seeing, like your man, I've gone blank with what you call them.
host family and stuff.
Yes, the host family. Here we go.
Yeah, so I think that was definitely one of the highlights. I mean, I just wanted to go back. Love a good holiday, and going to the snow. I hadn't really been to the snow properly. Like, I hadn't been properly. I've been to Mount Bullard, whatever. But this is like the first time I got in proper snow. Had so much fun, just like making a giant fucking snowman in front of the Airbnb. Probably being a huge nuisance because we didn't clean it up afterwards. And also maybe just like a bit cutesy, but it was nice to spend like 3 weeks just traveling with Raina. Don't always like because we weren't living together at the time, so that was just like a really nice experience, I guess.
Yeah, and you like you said at that time, it's you don't get that opportunity to spend that much time together, and it definitely has its challenges too. Don't get me wrong, but it's good. You know what I mean? It's you don't get many opportunities until you live together. I mean,
Yeah,
then you get to spend lots of time together.
exactly. But it was nice practice. 3 weeks together, we didn't kill each other, so that's a good sign.
It's a good sign, that's for sure. Now, unfortunately, as you came back, and unbeknownst to us all, coronavirus pandemic was like something much larger than we thought it was going to be. Right? I think at that point we're kind of like this is going to be like an Ebola, like SARS sort of level thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like it doesn't affect us. It's an
Mm.
external thing. But shit hit the fan pretty quick, and we went into lockdown. From March to June. Um, During that period, I guess, how was your attitude towards the game in that period?
I was pretty optimistic at the start. I was like, oh yeah, it won't be that long. Like you said, it's just another thing. It'll pass. It's fine. I entered some Wi-Fi tournaments. I don't really like Wi-Fi that much, but it passed the time. Like I said, unemployed at the time, just kind of vibing, having my time off from uni. So I remember I entered like Jasmine ran a Wi-Fi tournament every week, so that was a bit of fun. And the Couch Rose one, so it's kind of entering, I guess those replacement offline ones.
Hmm.
Um, and I suppose further on into the pandemic, it got a bit less optimistic. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not going to get to play this game offline again until I'm like an old man working full time. That's not that's not that fun. I was kind of hoping to have a couple months just to grind the game and get good, like enter BAM in May or whatever before I start work, but unfortunately not.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. It was hard times, and I think it was a very big shock for a lot of people. Just like completely different lifestyle from what we're used to. I know Smashers in general might not be the most outgoing or social, but like you realize how much of an impact it has on you when you can't do it at all.
You definitely you take it for granted to just like just going out and getting lunch with mates. Like, oh shit, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it was proper fucked, honestly. I guess during that period, what were you sort of doing to keep yourself busy, without having all the tournaments and stuff? Because I feel like you weren't too different from myself, where we're both attending quite a lot of tournaments, one or two a week, generally speaking, maybe go on the weekends if we can. What were you sort of doing to fill in that time?
Yeah, a lot of those little coding projects you mentioned before, I guess, like Bracket Buddy and JSON Bot, I was for the time I was working on those, which would have been at least like because it was only really 3 months since I started work, and then I was just busy with that. But at least like 2 of those months, I reckon I was basically working full time on my little hobbies, my little coding hobbies.
Hmm.
So that really filled in a lot of time. And then, like I said, like entered the Wi-Fi tournament still, which was about the same time as I would have spent at like a Pixel and EBS anyway. So I don't think I had that much downtime.
Yeah, and I mean that's good, right? Because that's what you want when you can't really do much else. It was good to find something to fill in that gap. so it's good. Um, Now in March we had Smash World Tour online qualifiers. That helped to keep us a little bit busy as well. When you heard about the news of Smash World Tour running, were you intending on qualifying before the event, or like was it like a goal that you were aiming to achieve?
Yeah, I think it actually didn't happen during lockdown. I don't fully remember. It was a while ago. But I think it was like when we were playing a bit of offline, because I remember going to the Pixel like the next day and just missing like 15 texts in a row because I've been playing Wi-Fi all week.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. Oh, what was I thinking? I was like a bit nervous about it and on the fence at entering because I'm like, fuck, if I enter, there's a realistic chance because I've done well in Wi-Fi tournaments before. Like, there's a realistic chance I qualify, and I kind of don't like that because it means I'm going to be stressed and I want to do well. But also, I want to enter because there's a realistic chance I can actually qualify.
Hmm.
So yeah, a bit on the fence about it. Like having pressure in a Wi-Fi tournament really sucks because like game's a bit out of your control sometimes, and I don't know. I never treated it like super seriously, so I found that a bit hard with online.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess the next question I have is like, what are your thoughts on the format? At the time, I believe there was arguments for qualifiers to be held offline. Um, so I think we were able to do it for that small gap period or whatever it may have been. Um,
Yeah, I think internet travel wasn't like super big, but definitely would have been good to have it offline. And like, I wish we could have just had it like, oh shit, top 16 of BAM qualify. That's so much easier. There's no online bullshit. Like, ideally, we have a major and it's just whatever the top 16 is, because the people who can qualify and should qualify are probably going to be at the major anyway. So I think that would have probably been the easiest way, just off the top of my head. But
hmm.
I mean, look, I kind of wish it was offline, but looking back on it, I'm like, oh, glad it was online because it was good for me.
And we could talk a bit about your run as well, because you beat ICK, who's from New Zealand, plays Bowser in pools, beat Andrew Lin. Uh, These probably more Wi-Fi names, I guess, for the Wi-Fi fellas. If you don't know these people, probably should because they are pretty good players. And you made Top Cut, and there was a bit of a break, I think, if I remember correctly, between Top Cut and the pools. How were you feeling at that point, and were you doing anything to sort of prepare for Top Cut?
Yeah, so it was over 2 days. And I remember I just like wasn't taking it super seriously at first. I bought a new TV that morning, so like I went out with Raina, grabbed a TV, came home, like, oh shit, I got into Smash World Tour. Raina, can you just study in the other room for an hour or something? Like I gotta go play some Smash online. Uh, and I remember the ICK, I was a bit worried about because like I don't know, played him on Elite Smash. Like, oh fuck, he's gonna do Wi-Fi Bowser things to me. It's scary. I beat him, like, oh cool, there's only one more left. I can beat Shaddy. And then, like I look back 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'm playing Andrew Lee. What the fuck? Because I was like kind of confident, like I can maybe beat Shadrew, and then Andrew Lee like almost beat me. So that one was pretty close. But yeah, I wasn't like super stressed out about it at that point. I was like, oh yeah, just whatever. I'll enter for almost the fun of it at that point.
Hmm.
Um, I did end up qualifying, which was pretty good. And what did I do to prepare for it? It was played with Ben a bunch that night. He qualified as well, so he was on the Wi-Fi practice. And I started to play Dura the next day. So I think it's the most I've ever practiced a match up, which is about half an hour to an hour. Like practiced in preparation for like a tournament for a matchup. So I just played Bin's Joker for like half an hour to an hour. And I just kind of, yeah, just chilled out. Raina was staying over, spent some time, and made sure I got some sleep.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a plan in that sort of scenario, a 2-day tournament. I think you practiced against someone that was pretty good at another character that Jura may have been playing.
I did the next no actually. So the next morning I woke up and I like looked at the bracket again or something and I saw like, oh fuck, he's played Royal tournament. Why did I practice against Joker? Hey Mod, can you play some Roy with me? I'm gonna practice comboing this fucking character.
All right, this was so good because I am so dog shit at this character, and like literally is like it's fine. I just need to practice how things combo, and I'm just like, I'm so mad. I didn't enter this tournament by the way. I was just helping like admin it or whatever, and I was like so mad. But I'm like, at the end of the day, this is gonna help. I'm just gonna shut up and just do it. And I'm just like, you're just doing me sword fellow bullshit, and I'm just like tilted beyond belief about what's
Yeah,
happening. But I'm just like, nah, it's fine, it's fine. But
yeah.
you did
Oh,
make a pretty
I
big
remember you.
upset at the end of the
I
day.
did.
So it was a
Did
3-2 win against Jura. So that qualified you for the event. But then you then fell to Ichigo from New Zealand. And
unfortunate.
that's what's that event? That's that. I don't know what's happening with it, but it's coming soon. I don't know. I think it's November. It's planned for. I don't know what's happening, but how did you feel about it when you didn't know that you confirmed qualified?
Um, oh, in fact, yeah, I remember I remember you like sent the Discord like, oh, who needs like a bit of matchup practice on life or something? Let me just down air game for you for like half an hour. We'll be fine.
It was
That
so
was
fucking
that was good.
annoying.
And yeah, I'd beaten Dura a couple times before, so I was almost confident. Like, oh fuck, I can actually do this. Like I beat him on Wi-Fi and I think offline once as well. So like, oh shit, like this is actually really doable. Got it 3-2. It was like last hit or something. Did a little pop off and got like ran off and told Rainer like I actually like did it, yay! I was really happy. Like I don't know, it was nice, especially because like on the big stream as well, like big name American commentators, I guess, on it.
Hmm.
So it was really cool. And then once I qualified, I just didn't give a shit. I was like, whatever. I don't care if I get like 13th or sorry 9th or like first. So did not really have any adrenaline left in me to play against the New Zealand fellas on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Right, at the end of the day, qualifying is enough. Because they're going to make you do all the pools or whatever when you get to that point. So,
Oh
um,
yeah, I mean like sorry, they wanted us to do a tiebreaker. Me, Jono, Kami, and Hoffa, I think. So we played a free for all, and they all SD'd. So they didn't have to play. They didn't have to get like some seed. Forgot exactly.
I think they
We
were
just played a free
seeded to
for all.
play
So
against extra. Um,
yeah, that was it. So
so
they all ran off the edge and like, oh cool, I guess I'm playing Nick.
I mean, I don't think that was the format anyway. The way it worked out, but it was just funny. Like everyone's like already metagamed the tournament strat. Um, but yeah, so that's been postponed obviously multiple times to this November date. Hopefully, it'll be running offline. Have you been keeping up your practice in between during this current lockdown that's been going for quite a long time?
Um, kept it going a little bit. I've had well now that we can had a couple like park meetups
Hmm.
with Dan 1-4, just like play Smash for an hour after work a couple times. So that's been good, but I haven't been like super sweaty about anything. I've played a lot of Bowser Jr. Dittos with Reina. So that's getting a bit clean. My Iggy goes off. Yeah, I probably haven't been grinding as hard as I'd like to, but maybe once we're a bit closer to things really coming back, I'll yeah, pick it up a bit more.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's hard to stay motivated when there's like literally nothing for like such an extended period of time. Um, I guess so. That was the Smash World Tour experience. Skipping a little bit further, like during 2020, we had some outdoor pixels before we were able to run them inside. There was like a few. I don't know if it was two or three or so before they went back inside. Was that like a relief for you to have some offline tournaments again?
Yeah, I remember there was some in the middle of the year as well, I think. So there was
Yeah,
like some in the
this.
middle of 2020. Oh, sorry, this is the middle of 20. Yeah, there's like some in the middle of 2020 and there was some at the end.
Yeah, so there was like that little bit in between. There was like, I think there was like 20-man locals that they could have at the venue.
Yeah.
And then there was the gap again because we went back in where we had nothing. Oh, very
Yeah,
tiring to think about actually.
I think I just remember every time they came back, I was like hesitant. I'm like, oh, this is great, but is it going to actually last? Like, I'm just going to treat it as being nice to see everyone. That was, I guess, like my main thoughts when those locals started coming back.
Hmm.
Each time they've come back, like, will this last?
Yeah. And then I guess we ended 2020 with Pixel Perfect. So that was a monthly that ran with a round robin pool, which is obviously quite obscure for like most Ultimate people. It's like round robin was like a draw to the tournament, even, you know? It's like, oh, I get more games to play. And you end up getting 17th. Did you enjoy that round robin format?
I don't know. Like with round robin, it's really interesting. I don't think I like it at all for tournaments where you can actually get eliminated for getting an unlucky like round robin pool. But I think for stuff like summer, and I think Smash World Tour is doing it now, I think it works fine where it's just determining your seeding. It's like it's good, but it's not. It's not going to kill you for getting an unlucky pool. 'Cause sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like I don't know, everyone goes 2-1 or something, and one person just cops it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. I guess for me, because I never experienced it before, it was really good. And I guess ultimately, being the first tournament back when I haven't played offline for like 10 million years, it was kind of nice to just have a pool. Like, I think they were 6-man pools. So you have to play at least, what was it, like 5 games, right? Like 5 sets to get out. And then you got to
Hmm.
play your bracket if you made it out. So it was like, I knew I was going to get some tournament experience. And it was very needed. Because it'd been so long, I was like so fucking nervous. But then, like, because you played so many games, you started to warm, like, you felt really warm. Um, that being said, I don't see it being something that will come back anytime soon until we get to the points where tournaments are quite small at the monthly level where you can sort of
Yeah.
justify it. Well, you want
Yeah,
people
I
to get
think
their games.
sorry, yeah, I think at the end of Smash 4, yeah, they were all round robins, which I personally liked as someone who was rocking up and getting like losing every set. It was like cool, I get to play more though. So I think I enjoyed that. And yeah, definitely you're right. Once it's like a little bit smaller, you can realistically do more round robins, but I don't still personally love it when it does involve like some people getting eliminated. It could just happen from bad luck.
Yeah, and that's the nasty thing with round robin. Not overly the biggest. Like in terms of organizing it and running it, it'd be like, oh, it's a bit painful because it's just like all these extra games that need to be played as well. It's like, nah.
Mm.
All right, and then that was like, yeah, that was in, I think, was that December? I think it was December.
I think it was December or like start of January or something.
I think it was December. I mean, whatever it was, we're starting a new year. We got the 2021, the on again, off again seasons. It's the way I described it. Now, the first monthly attended in 2021 was Super Sunshine Smash, which is a monthly that's running when COVID allows it, once a month. How did you find that event? I guess because it's quite obviously it was brand new, completely new venue. Yeah, how was it like?
Well, because you're here, I think I have to say it that Super Sunshine's a really great event, and I encourage everyone to go and support it and buy food there. But no, I really did love it. It's probably the cleanest space out of any like monthly or any tournament in general that I've been to in Victoria. It's it's like a really nice room you get, and the food is good. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of nowhere, but like everything else about it is perfect. And there's
Yeah,
like a big projector set up for like watching it. Stream quality is good. Like everything's actually perfect except it's in like West Side, which sucks for me. But
yeah,
I still
that
make the trek, which really shows it's worth it.
yeah, that's my issue. Trust me, if I could have that venue in the middle, it'd be like literally perfect. But I guess you can't have it all because to have an affordable, like a venue that nice at an affordable price, comes at a cost, and the cost is just not being central. So I'm glad you liked the event. I just yeah, basically just chilling myself. Not gonna lie. No, I'm just kidding. Um, now the results at local for that Jan to March period they varied between 17th to 9th, which is very consistent and very good placings because not only were the tournaments quite small, but they were also very fucking stacked. Like everyone just wanted to go to everything because like things were running. So you just had a lot of good players at most of your tournaments. And there was a lot of upsets happening too. So kudos. And then you went to Super Sunshine too. Once again skipping through the locals. Too many. You ghost everything. Yeah, and then Super Sunshine Smash 2 you got ninth. And third place at the Tertiary Cup, which we're not going to talk about too much for reasons. No, you made some good upsets, and I died at 0%. It was very cool. Um,
Still my favorite thing that's happened on
it's
stream.
so ridiculous, but it's. I understand why it works, but it upset me that it happened more than anything else. But was something clicking with your game at that point? Did you feel like something's changed, or did you understand something better than you were doing before?
Yeah, so actually, do you want me to let you in on the secret sauce on how I did well at those two tournaments in particular, just in
Mm.
general? It's a real secret, trade secret. So they're actually on the weekend, so I wasn't fucking dead from my 9 to 5 job. So it's like, oh yeah, it's like getting 17th night at locals. Like, yeah, it's good and stuff. But then like I get to play on the weekend. I'm not fucking tired out of my brain. And I think all of my like really good results have just been at weekend tournaments if you look at it. So I don't know, maybe there's a bit of a correlation there. 9 to 5's like killed the brain. But also, yeah, I was just like getting way more into it. And I was kind of I think I was in a bit of a grinding mood because I just qualified for I think I qualified for Smash Bros. 2 like right before this. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, like lots of motivation from that, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe no, maybe that was after it. It might have been after actually. But
Yeah,
either
it would be
way,
after
I was,
because
I was in the mood for a lot of motivation around then. At the time, like because things were pretty solidly back at that point. Pretty sure.
well, the fact that we had two monthlies in a row was like a miracle. So it just feels like holy shit, maybe we are back. You know, like
Yeah.
things are happening. I mean, at the end of that season, you got 20th, which is once again pretty big jump. There might have been one in between. I don't remember, but 20th, top 20, very solid. Um, there was a lot of interruptions still afterwards, unfortunately. I think it was in like March. We had another sort of small lockdown again. Um, did that like affect how you were playing the game at all, or was it just more the motivation to play?
Um, Well, yeah, back to like top 20 was definitely like one of my big goals from the start.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess something to like cross off the Smash bucket list. Like, oh yeah, top 20. That's something that I guess something that mattered to me. I was pretty happy once I got it, but I was like, where do I go from here? Do I like want to get that much better at the game? I'm kind of happy being around here.
Hmm.
And especially with those breaks coming back, like I just didn't really play the game during those breaks. Maybe I farmed some Wi-Fi clips for cloud or something, but I didn't really grind at all. I just didn't. It's hard to be motivated, especially when you're so on and off with it, and I'm not sure the game's back. It's like, do I want to bother?
No, it's so hard, right? Because you're just like, well, it's gonna be back. I mean, one it could literally be gone for next week. So it's like, am I gonna put so much effort in this meantime? Which helped close the gap for a lot of the players that were going like or newer players, you know, because a lot of the players that have been around for a long time just couldn't be bothered in between. But that's just the nature of the timeline we're in. We're gonna rattle off some of the results you had between April and June. So you got 17th at the Rambat, 13th Super Sunshine 4, uh, 7th at the May Rambat, and then you ended up going up one placement at the end of the season. Um, did you feel like so you know you placed in a similar spot, but did you feel that the scene as a whole got stronger, given that you were having still relatively consistent results through that season?
Yeah, like not only did the scene get stronger in the top end, like I think Shen came back around this time, so it's even hard. Like getting 19th was harder then, like way harder than getting like 20th the season before. Because there's just like there's a lot more people that were a lot better at the game.
Hmm.
Um, and it's also not just that top end, but also just like the random person, especially with Wi-Fi, lets you practice your advantage so much and all your confirms and stuff that if I'm not playing on point against anyone in my bracket, it's like fuck, I can just lose to you. Like I rock up to like Rob Main 33, and if I'm not like properly focused on like playing the game in neutral and everything, I'm not just gonna better player them. They're gonna zero to death me,
Hmm.
and I have to be the better player.
It's scary, right? Like I know that feeling firsthand because I'm just like before you could get away with a lot more, and now the room for error is just not very big.
Mm.
You know, you can you know sometimes you get in that fuck around state, I guess you could call it. And if you let something slip up, they like you get punished for it very hard, and they don't let you sort of get that lead. Like they hold on to their leads, they claw to them. It's scary. The the level at this point at the 40 was, because I think it was a 40 at the time, was kind of nuts. Where you were seeing people getting upset anywhere in that range, like even from 15 to 40, anyone could upset each other pretty much. It was kind of nuts. Um, the last thing that we've really got before we went into this big, nice, fat, juicy lockdown was Bank Week. So that was pretty much the final major event in Vic Smash since, you know, for the whole year, basically. If you weren't around or just weren't really paying attention to the Vic scene at the time, we had 4 tournaments running on the same week. Um, Probably the most tournaments we've ever had since, you know, COVID sort of happened. And it was just a gauntlet of tournaments. You know, I think it was what, Monday, Tuesday. What was it? Monday, Tuesday, like Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday,
Fridays,
Sunday.
Thursdays. Yeah, it's like five in one week, I think.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. It was so many tournaments. How did you feel like leading up to Bank? And I believe you attended every event that week as well.
Yeah, I think I attended every event that week, but then I took the Monday off. I didn't go to the Pixel the Monday after. I know a bunch of people still went to that. I'm like, how are you still playing this game and being hungover? But I played. Yeah, I think I entered them all, and I Bank Week wasn't what it was meant to be. Like, it was meant to be banned. It was meant to be like heaps of instators. It was still pretty good though. Like we still made the most of a bad situation, and I still took off. I think I took the Friday off and the Monday off from work. Just I deserved the long weekend. I was really tired from work still. But it was great, like still getting to go to all the events, and there was a few insteaders that came down, so it was nice to see them. Um, and just there's a lot of people that came, so it was great, especially since like I don't remember the last big tournament before that, because even the Rannies weren't hitting like over 100, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really. It's kind of hard, right? Because even they like for some people, like you could go, but for still a lot of people, they weren't comfortable. You know, like
Mm.
the idea of 100 people in a room when you haven't been able to see anyone is kind of daunting for a lot of people. So it was the first time we probably had a big amount of people in one space. And it was, yeah, like you said, relatively a relative success given the issues caused by COVID. Um, how did you feel about the event overall, like Bank itself?
Bank itself is like honestly, I didn't love the venue. It's Cloud9. It wasn't meant to be the Smash venue. We used what we had. Some difficulties with the stream and stuff. But at the end of the day, I got to see a whole bunch of people I hadn't seen for a while, have a great time, and get on the bevs afterwards. So it was kind of everything I needed, honestly. And just a great way to end that gauntlet of tournaments, like you said, is yeah, just kind of catching up with everyone and chilling out.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same. I mean, unfortunately, I was still on the health kick, which I still am now, but I didn't have, I don't think I had anything to drink at the time. Oh yeah, because I was on some meds and I couldn't have alcohol. So I was trying to think why didn't I do it? Because I would have. Yeah, and that was the reason because I couldn't. But it was a lot of fun, like I said, just to hang out with everyone. It's like mod gaming was a thing in between that period, right? And it's like finally get to see everyone in person while it's happening. It was really good. And you placed 13th, which is no easy feat, given there was some pretty heavy presence, especially at the top. So how did you feel about the result?
Yeah, I think I had a run as heated up until right before my last win. And then I'm watching DD play B or something. I check back. I'm like, oh, I played the loser of DDB. I'm like, oh, cool. I could beat B maybe. And then I look at this, like I go up and they're playing on stream, and it's like game five, fucking last stop or something. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I can't. Maybe I'm playing badly and I'm just gonna like lose here. But yeah, I got to play B, which is great because I hadn't played him yet. I'm pretty sure he's like living in Vic now, which is cool. I guess everyone's just moving to Vic now. But I hadn't played him before, so that was great. And then I won, and then I lost to Harris, which was honestly pretty funny. Kind of glad if I had to lose to anyone. But no, it was just nice to like. I don't think I did too well at any other tournaments for a variety of reasons. Um, One of them I didn't sleep before. I slept for like 2 hours because I went to bed, but then I realized I'd forgotten to build my bed because we were just moving in, and I didn't build the IKEA bed.
Oh
So
no.
I like I'm gonna get a nice early night. 5 hours later, after fucking building this terrible IKEA bed. Well, it's not like I love the IKEA bed, but building it was terrible. Um, but it was nice to end the tournament and the gauntlet of tournaments like with a good result. It just felt nice.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess unfortunately, and that was like the last week we could pretty much do anything since. We got fucked by COVID. Now we're back in lockdown, number 6. Have you been grinding at all in this time, or are you just taking a chill in the meantime? Because it's been quite a long lockdown.
I was taking it chill for a bit. I'm trying to play the game a bit. It's probably a good opportunity to grind. Maybe I should. I think it's been like I didn't play for like a couple of weeks since bank. I was like whatever. Or no, since like tournament stopped, which was like the week after that. Yeah, I didn't really play. I was like kind of contemplating like how much I want to play the game. I was hoping I could just like play BAM, play Smash World Tour, and then chill out for a bit.
Hmm.
But I still had that like looming like, oh, Smash World Tour might happen eventually. I want to be not washed up for that. So that's kind of what was in the back of my mind of like wanting a bit of motivation, I suppose. And then now it's just been long enough that since I've entered a tournament that I'm like, this game's kind of seeming fun again. Like I don't hate this game anymore. Sometimes you get fed up with it, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
But like, now it's I don't know, drawing me back into it, especially like watching some of those American majors. It's getting me really excited for it.
Yeah,
So
I just wish it wasn't online, but yeah, it's the compromise we've got to make in the meantime, right? It's a short term pain, hopefully long term gain. Um, hopefully we'll, you know, be able to go back to normal. We've got to look at the positives, you know, because we've been in lockdown. The podcast has happened.
yeah, exactly. One benefit of lockdown.
So that's all we can ask for, I guess. It's gonna quickly. Yeah, so we're gonna ask some viewer questions. So I've just posted in the chat. If you got any questions, post them in there, and I'll read out a few. I'm conscious of the time. We're still under 2 hours, amazingly. But yeah, I don't want to keep Tim here forever because I'm sure he also has work tomorrow as well. So if you got any questions, feel free to drop some. All right, Connor
Yeah,
for Masters.
I got to sleep before 9 to 5, but yeah, keep for some questions. We'll pick the good ones.
Yeah, no, there's a few. So, I mean, a lot of these are pretty easy to answer to, which is helpful. So, which side B is the best side B from Mast?
That's a difficult question. I think it's Chakram because the others are dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could have answered that for you, to be honest. Do you have a prediction for the next DLC character? This is from Delaridus.
I have a dream character, and that's like anything from Dark Souls, I reckon. But like realistically, it's probably going to be like a Crash Bandicoot type thing.
Okay, so like a third
One,
party
one,
that's like
one of the ones everyone's saying, I reckon. I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to blow my mind. It'll be something that enough people have been saying. But if it's Dark Souls,
That would be pretty big. Kruzzy's asked if you enjoy, or do you enjoy your games together? He feels
I
like
do.
they have good games.
I think Crosby's always really fun to play just because of like the energy. Um, and you got something on the line. Like it's more than just like a win in bracket. Like Crosby's gonna pop off on you. And that's a big moment. But no, I think yeah, we also have pretty interesting games. There was always like fun interactions. I think it's a weird matchup, but and also just like Crosby's such a nice guy. It's always fun to play him.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
You
Uh,
should come back to more.
yeah, I mean, obviously when the time's right, if you feel like even just come for a hang anytime, man. Always welcome. Inzi has asked for beard PR.
Ooh, this is a good one. I think I'm not gonna order anything, but I'll list off some good beards. Mod's up there. Some very nice thick. Like I don't see bald spots in Mod's beard. It's up there. Geordie Big Chili, he's up there too. I haven't
Definitely.
seen him for a while, but I assume he's still got a great beard. I'll throw myself in there too. Um, I don't know if anyone knows Muffin still, but he like takes a bunch of photos. He took I don't remember the last time he came to something to take photos, but he went Smash Bros. As well. He had a really nice beard for a bit. Jack Orman's mustache as well. I'll round out the beard tier with that. And HM's is Connor if he can ever actually grow facial hair. I believe in him, but just not yet.
I've got the hidden boss for you. It's JPam's beard. Like the lockdown beard is
Ooh,
very solid, but he hasn't come to anything for a long time. So unfortunate, but that beard is very fucking good.
I'm keen to see it if he does come to anything. He's a really nice guy.
Okay, we've got two more questions because I don't want to kill it for you time wise. Radio's asked, are you looking forward to Nickelodeon All Star Brawl?
I am. I'm gonna get a. I heard something about it getting delayed a bit, but if it's not, I'm just gonna get a. Whenever it's at JB Hi-Fi and Randy can get a discount. But I'm really keen for it. I wanted to play Nigel Thornberry, but he looks like dog shit, so now I have to find someone else I want to play. But I am keen to try it out. It seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, fair enough. And the last question, which I think is a really, really solid question, which is from Ernest. He's asked, who is the most influential person in Smash for you?
That is a hard question. Finishing on a hard one. I cannot think of like a number one like solid answer just off the top of my head.
Hmm.
But I do want to say, and not just because you're here, but Mod's actually like a pretty big influence. As one is like one of the few other people who are actually like proper employed and have their stuff together. Just to do that well and do so much is like it's impressive to me. And it's like I could do it too. Like I can't use my job as a complete excuse. He's doing better than me, and he's also working. But like it comes with both things. Like some people sacrifice a bit of work to do a bit more Smash and stuff. Like
Yeah, no,
it's a hard balance,
definitely.
but it was always impressive to me. So maybe like off the top of my head, I don't know the most influential, but that's something that I've always been like, damn, that's fucking it's impressive.
I appreciate that. I mean, there was definitely an imbalance for some of that period. Definitely towards the end, as you could tell with me playing less and less, the balance was much more weighted the way it should be. I don't think it overly affected the results too much, but I think mentally it was a lot better, for me.
Oh,
Because
sorry.
sorry, go.
Actually, I've just remembered Bin Yaman as well because I'm basically Bin Yaman light. He just plays Link. I play the shitty me Link. Um, he's got fuck tons of clout from all these saucy Twitter clips. I've got a little bit. I think I just aspire to be Bin Yaman.
So you're just like the national level, like
We have the same birthday too. It all works out.
that's fucked up. That's fucked up. I didn't know that. There you go. No, I do know this, but it's like not in my subconscious.
Yeah, because Ben forgot he forgot how old he was or something. So he's asked me how old I am, and then he subtracts one.
That's very big, honestly. All right, Tim, do you have any final points or anything you wanna do? Shout outs or
Um,
anything.
Final point shout outs. Well, I guess just to the Vic scene in general, because if they weren't this good, or at least most of them are this good, I would not have stuck around this long, definitely. Like this, like I say, keep saying social aspects really important. So yeah, just thanks to everyone for being really chill, and it's so great. And I guess also thanks to Raina for being supportive. It's definitely heard some bad stories and like partners not being the most supportive of going to fucking video game tournaments, but she's a fan. She supports it. She's happy when I do well and stuff. It's yeah, she's
No,
really
that's
great with it.
awesome. That's awesome. Do you have any plugs you need to do? You know,
I'm hoping everyone is watching right now follows me on Twitter, but if you don't, do that.
one
That's about it,
second.
really. I don't think I have any crazy plugs or anything actually.
Just gonna find your Twitter so that I can send it in the chat. Follow this man. Good clips. I promise.
There'll be more when offline comes back. I think I'm a bit sick of the Elite Smash clips for now.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair enough. You gotta do the right thing by yourself. I guess the last thing, you want to call out anyone. You want to call someone a shitter. You got a chance. It's the last chance.
Call someone a shit. Oh.
Like, not necessarily, but that's like it's along that line, you know.
On that line, I don't know. And I can't really like recommend people for the podcast. I don't think because most of them are locked in. But I can say that I do, if there are ever more or if there are open slots, I'm a big fan of hearing the old stories. Love like Dollar's Brawl stories. I'd love to hear like the early Smash 4 ones because there were some nutters then. So I'd like to hear some stories of that. Um, yeah, if there are any spots for the podcast, that's honestly what I personally enjoy the most hearing about.
All right. Well, there you go, fellas. Thank you very much for tuning in to Know Your Locals. Who will be our next guest? You'll have to tune in next time to find out because I'm not revealing it just yet. But
Ooh.
until next time, have a great night, stay safe, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, have a great night, everyone.